Good evening. It's Friday. This is over and over and over again. My name is Richard, and this is the Arsenal Women's Show. It's a very, very special one this week. It is the 2023-2024 season review. There was a lot of highs. There was a lot of lows. We ended up with a trophy, and so there's a lot to talk about. Of course, we're going to discuss all of what we made of the season as a whole. Obviously, I'll say all those highs and all those lows, and we're also going to give out our end of season awards as well. A few to give out. Who's going to win all the trophies tonight? Let's have a look and see, shall we? It's going to be good. So let's all get into it, shall we? It's all coming up the other side of our special little intro. And of course, joining us for this special show this evening, it wouldn't be the right show, would it, without our two main players in the team. We've got Andreas, of course, and Amar. Andreas, how are you this week?
Not bad at all. Good evening, everybody. Looking forward to the show, and I'm glad to be back. There's so much to discuss, not only the last match, but the whole season. And I think this will be really interesting tonight.
It will. Lots of highs and lows this season has been, hasn't there? So we'll get through as many of those as we can. Emma, as well, good to see you again. Are you okay this week?
Yeah, not too bad. Had a few days off. Got some golfing today. Yeah, just chilling now. It's good to do what we like an evening. For once, good to be on time. No, Mr. Wait doesn't say anything. Well, we'll leave that alone. But now it'll be good to review what's been another exciting season. And yeah, I'm looking forward to dishing out the awards as well. So and maybe finishing off with a end of season quiz as well. So let's look forward to that.
Yeah, lots to look forward to. Greg's with us as well, Ed. And Greg, he says, evening everyone, and not a bad game today. But what was the point of taking Russo and only playing her half the game? It was, was it Jonas trying to help Sweden out? Well, I mean, I think the point was that I think Alessia Russo is a big draw, isn't she? And I think that the fans in Australia wanted to see her, and I think it's maybe that was the reason behind it. But it seemed to be okay, didn't it today? I think couldn't get to watch too much of it. Of course, the time of it wasn't ideal, but there you go. And Arsenal did win 1-0 in Australia. Of course, I'm sure you all are aware of what happened in that game today. So, 2023-2024. Then what a it was a strange season in many ways. It didn't get off to the greatest of starts, did it? When we found ourselves knocked out of the Champions League in the qualifying stage on penalties to Paris FC, who I've got to be honest with you, I didn't know too much about them before we played them. And after the game, it was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that to happen. I expected us to get through. It wasn't ideal preparation, was it, with the World Cup so soon before the game? We didn't have a lot of time to prepare. We didn't have a proper pre-season. That was basically our pre-season games, and they were important games. And in the end, of course, we found ourselves out of the Champions League before we'd even started. It just seemed a few weeks since we'd lost the semi-final, and we found ourselves knocked out of this season's competition right at the beginning. I mean, Andreas, we'll get on to the awards a little bit later, but that was a big disappointment, wasn't it, not to have made it to the group stage at least?
Yeah, this was the worst possible start of the new season, and I think it seems so near to everybody. Of course, the mini tournament, it's not easy, but we won the first match against, I think, Linköping, and then Paris FC. Everybody, me inclusive, thought, okay, take them serious, but we are the better team. We will beat them. And then it went to penalties. You can't say we lost, but we drew 3-3, and we lost in penalties. This is always a game of luck. But anyway, it felt as if the girls just came back from the World Cup. A lot of new players coming in, and I don't know, did they have 1 week training together and then headed off to Linköping? So it was very difficult, but for the whole season, this was the worst possible start because we belonged to Europe, to the top Europe competition, and being out was it shook us hard, and I think we all needed some time to get along with this and say, okay, let's concentrate on the Conti Cup, and maybe it's a blessing in disguise not to play in Europe. But yeah, this was last season, and now don't ever let this happen again. In the new season, we have to play in Europe. We have to be in the group stage. It's where we belong and where our players want to be. They want to compete for the best in Europe. So for 1 year, okay, players knew it was also our fault. We were new. We had a new team. It didn't fit together really, but there will be no more excuse for the new season.
No, absolutely not. I'm prepared, but certainly for that Champions League qualifiers, I'm certainly prepared to give everybody the benefit of the doubt due to the fact the World Cup finished so late and we didn't have the time. There was new players that didn't have a chance to integrate into the squad. There was lots and lots of reasons. Yes, we should have done better. There's no doubt about that. We were good enough to have beaten that Paris side. We shouldn't have let it get to the stage that it did. We almost went out in normal time in the game, didn't we? We were so close to going out anyway when Jem Beattie scored that goal, which Terry was obviously happy about. But yeah, I mean, it was. I'm prepared to let that go for that reason. But like you said, this year there's no excuse. We're going to have a full pre-season. Everybody should be prepared. And this time we've got to be ready for those games because they are really, really important. They might seem like friendlies or they might seem like they're against teams that we should beat. But even so, absolutely, we should have done better. And we should have got through and we didn't. And it's not good enough. For a club like Arsenal, it's not good enough. We need to be in that group stage. And yeah, maybe you're right, Andreas. Maybe one season of that happening in the circumstances, we could say, okay, look, fair enough. We'll not be happy about it, but we maybe understand, but no more. If this happens again this coming season, then serious questions need to be asked if we don't qualify at that qualifying stage this time. Yvette says there the manager and coach didn't prepare properly. Well, no, they didn't get the chance to prepare properly, did they? Due to the World Cup, all our players were away. How could they prepare for something with no players? It's difficult, isn't it? And they can only do what they can do. And yes, it looked that way. We didn't look ready at all. But, that's what happens, isn't it? Yvette says there, we need to take the early rounds seriously. Yeah, no, I don't think we didn't take it seriously. I just feel that the lack of preparation was the key. And I think most of the Paris players wasn't at the World Cup, or many of them wasn't. They were in a better place than we were at that time. And that's what can happen in football. Doesn't matter how good you are. If one team's slightly further ahead of you in preparation and fitness and stuff like that, it's going to make a difference when the game's on, and we saw it on that particular day, didn't we? Yvette says every team was in the same boat. Well, they were, but not every team had the same amount of players at the World Cup, did they, as we did? Most of our squad were there. So, some of those other teams in those qualifying group stages was a sort of lesser teams, if you like, and that their players aren't international players that were playing at the World Cup. So everyone was in the same boat to a certain degree, but we had more players in that World Cup than anyone else in that qualifying competition. Well, most of the other teams in that qualifying competition. And unfortunately, it's cost us. You want to be successful, you want the best players, but sometimes there's a downside to it. And on this particular occasion, it was. And we found ourselves out of the competition that we'd done so well in the season before we even got going. And that was really frustrating. Imperative View says, what do you make of Jonas saying that we'll have a quiet window? We'll have to wait and see what happens in the window. Will it be quiet? Do we need a lot of players? That's what we've got to ask ourselves. We don't need that many, do we? A goalkeeper, obviously, we know, and maybe one or two others. But I expect it to be a fairly quiet window. If we can keep a lot of the players that we've got already, we've had some good news on the new contract front, which we will talk about, of course. I think it might well be a quiet window, actually. I think it might well be because we don't need a lot. We don't need a lot added, do we? Maybe one or two might leave. One or two more might leave. But let's see. I'm not expecting a lot of incoming, certainly. One or two, but not a lot. I mean, Amar, obviously the Champions League was a big disappointment. It was like a cloud coming over us at the start of the season. It went into the WSL, didn't it, with the Liverpool game. And I think that whole kind of few weeks there was there at the start of the season, it wasn't the best start that we could have had, was it? Let's be honest.
No, I mean, they're coming barely after 1 week after playing in the Red Zone, 1 week after playing in the World Cup final. Leslie was back in training. I mean, and what was it, 2 weeks after that, the qualifier? It's good that the format's changing next season. I think it needed to. I don't understand that it doesn't really suit everyone, but it helps if you finish higher in your domestic league. But it's good to see the change. I can't even remember exactly what the change is, but it's going to be down to this coefficient system next season or the season after, which seems a bit complex. But let's not go into that. Yeah, I mean, it was very disappointing. I think we beat Linköping comfortably, which was good to see. And then, yeah, everyone thought we'd beat Paris. But then if you saw the goals we conceded, that sort of set the tone for the defensive issues that would plague us through the season. And ultimately why we only ended up keeping 6 clean sheets out of 22, which at this level, if we're going to challenge for the title, is just not good enough. And okay, we had all the injuries and all the injured players coming absent. But yeah, you could maybe say that was the reason, but we should still have had too much for them. And yeah, it's not good enough to go out. But hopefully this time we'll have a fully fit squad to choose from. And summer there's no Olympics, no tournaments at least until next year. So hopefully this time we should be able to get through that. And this year there'll be no excuses. And yeah, and then it fell into the Liverpool defeat where it showed we have enough possession of the ball, but when we create the chance, it was just something lacking in the final third, wasn't there? And then Liverpool got the one chance and scored. It was a bit of a sucker punch in front of that, what would become one of many record-setting crowds throughout the season. So yeah, it wasn't the ideal start, and I don't know whether it's easy to blame the schedule, but no, it was far from ideal. And yeah, but thankfully, once that little stuttering period was over, we did start to find our stride eventually, didn't we? So, but yeah, no, it wasn't an ideal start. It sort of set the tone for some of the performances throughout the season. But I suppose in one way, not wanting to use it as the main reason is you could blame that we still had key players that were missing, and the schedule was just crazy as it's tended to be the last few years.
Yeah, I mean it was, and obviously at the start of the season we didn't have Beth Stewart wasn't back, Luke
Leah,
wasn't back, Williamson wasn't back. So all these things I do feel made a massive difference. That whole situation wasn't really at the ideal time for us, and unfortunately it was an important time of the season. And yeah, I agree with you, Mike. It did kind of set the tone a little bit, didn't it? And unfortunately in the WSL, in the end, of course, Chelsea and Man City both lost 3 league games. We lost 4. But to lose your first game, you are under a lot of pressure in the league, aren't you? Because of what's happened in the last few seasons. I mean, we only lost 1 game 2 seasons ago. The whole season it wasn't enough. We still come second. So, you know, that put us on the back foot, didn't it, right from the start? And to be fair, we did. You're right. We did turn it around, didn't we? The draw at Man United was. We could have won that game. Maybe we should have won that game, but that wasn't a bad result away from home. And then we did go on a good run. We were winning games, not convincingly necessarily, but we got on a good run. We got ourselves back in contention. But the situation that we were in was any defeat that came along following that Liverpool game was always going to put us under a lot of pressure again, wasn't it? And of course, we know what happened in the run up to Christmas with the defeat against Tottenham. And that kind of put us out of the title race, didn't it? I mean, Andreas, that Tottenham defeat was the one for me. I know it was only the second game we'd lost in the league, but that for me kind of ended our realistic title hopes. I thought, even though it was still not even halfway through the season, that was a big blow, wasn't it? Losing at Tottenham.
It came so surprising for everybody because we had a bad start with the Liverpool game, but then we grew into the season and we made our points. We won our matches, and then losing to Spurs, I've never expected this, and this was so disappointing. And suddenly the league title seemed far away, although it was I think it was November or December when we lost there. So it was half a year to go. But the more I think the more it hurt to lose against West Ham. You can't lose against West Ham. It can be compared to the Birmingham match 2 years ago, and we were 1-0 up against West Ham and lost there. So I think this was even more shocking. Yeah, we lost the league title in these 2 matches. That's as hard as it is. When you look at the table at the end, we are 5 points behind Chelsea and City. Winning these 2 matches, and the title would be ours. But anyway, the Spurs match is something special for every Arsenal fan and for every player or players that are longer stints with us. They know how important the Northampton derby is. So I can't understand that we didn't perform in this match.
No, we didn't. We didn't. And it's strange, isn't it? Because all our 3 away defeats in the league all were London derbies. Tottenham, West Ham, and then Chelsea. And we didn't lose away from home against anybody else. And it's just strange how it works out this season. The London derbies were the games that ended up causing us the issues, and they're the games that cost us the league. But yeah, you're right about the West Ham game. That was, Yvette says the same. That it was a West Ham game that done us in. That was the final nail in the coffin, wasn't it, West Ham? But I thought the Tottenham game was the one that convinced me that we wasn't going to win the league this season. That was the defeat. I'm thinking 2 defeats already. I think Chelsea had lost 1 at that point, and they were already ahead of us. Man City were going well. And I just felt that Tottenham defeat was the one that maybe made, I think up until then, we'd gone on a good run since Liverpool. We were winning game after game. We were up there challenging. And if we'd won that game, it was a week after we'd beaten Chelsea as well, wasn't it? We'd beaten Chelsea at the Emirates so well, such a great performance. And then the Tottenham game was the next game. And it's like, you can't beat Chelsea and then lose to Spurs the next week. You can't do it. You can't do that. And unfortunately, that was the one. Yeah, the West Ham game was really disappointing because they were second from bottom. We were 1-0 up, controlling the game, and we actually threw that game away. Absolutely threw it away. But I thought with the Tottenham game coming before that was the one for me that I thought that was the one that made me realise this maybe wasn't going to be our year to win that league title, and we'd have to wait a bit longer. I mean, Emma, was that the same for you, or was it the West Ham game? Because those were the 2 defeats that cost us ultimately. But I don't know, the Tottenham game for me, just I don't know, that was the one that really that bothered me the most. I think even at the time.
Yeah, when you think, as you say, to put in such a fantastic performance against Chelsea, the way we bullied them and harassed them, and to put that form in front of that record crowd, and then after just come off India, I was jet lagged. I remember the first thing I switched on was to watch that beautiful brand of football. Everything would just come together. That was the perfect my return from my holiday. I was just absolutely brilliant. Then 6 days later, I know playing Spurs away at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but it's a complete antithesis, wasn't it? It just summed up our season. Inconsistencies that would ultimately cost us in the big moments. And I still remember that game. I think I know I've discredited Jonas a lot on the show, and I know sometimes it's warranted, sometimes it hasn't been. But I have to say that in that game, he didn't get his tactics right. He got the substitutions wrong as well. He should have made them earlier. We didn't really create much, and in the final third, we just made poor decisions. It would sum it up and sum up our season in front of goal, pretty on the eye, but just lacking that ruthless cutting edge in front of goal, which would ultimately, if we can sign somebody like in the summer, not looking too far ahead, that maybe could be the difference maker next season. But yeah, that game was they had one chance in the whole game and took it, and it was we were just caught cold. It was just a poor defending, and Manu was caught static online. Maybe we should stayed back, but yeah, we didn't really create much. And ultimately, after that, the winter break came. Then it was always struggling. You see, no team has ever lost. What was it until this season? No team had ever lost more than 2 games. I think it was to win a WSL title. That's the first time I think anyone's ever lost 3, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it was that one, and then of course, what can you say? West Ham. I mean, again, summed up a series summed up a season in front of goal. Had plenty of chances, didn't take them. They take 2 chances. Another one from a goalkeeping error, a dubious penalty, I suppose, because it was outside the box. But you know what they're like. The referees are like in giving penalties when which are on the line or just outside. But we should have had a penalty ourselves, arguably, in that game. If I remember when Chloe, I think, was fouled blatantly, which was even more of a penalty, if I seem to remember rightly. But who knows if technology is going to come in and sort that out. But it just goes to show we need to be more clinical, kill teams off. And again, if you look at whilst it was already decided later in the season, it didn't really have a matter. Another example is the Everton game. Had plenty of chances, score a goal, but we don't see it out. We need to be more ruthless, and more game management needs to come in more into play in future if we're going to make the next step and end this wait for a title. You see, I don't want to compare us to Chelsea. We can see they have that mentality. They know that they can. Look what they did to Manchester United last week. Finish them off early. See the game out. We just need to have that attitude and belief going forward. And I hope this manager can instill more of that into this talented group of players we have, and we can make that next step.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we need to do. I mean, it was obvious this season, wasn't it? I mean, I think the kind of where we're lacking and what we're lacking was obvious in so many moments this season, wasn't it? couldn't get certain games over the line. We missed so many chances in big moments. We didn't create enough big opportunities in a lot of the games, and defensive mistakes cost us. I mean, that goal that Tottenham scored, I can still picture it now. Just thinking of it all the time, it's just there. Such a soft goal to concede in such a game. It was ridiculous, and unfortunately, it wasn't the only one this season, was it? As you said before, Emma, you know, the lack of clean sheets in the WSL in particular was a concern. It was definitely a concern. And you think all those clean sheets that we got, a lot of them were in the last few games. We got 2 or 3 in the running. So up until then, we haven't had any. And it's not good enough. To win the WSL, you need clean sheets, don't you? You need a lot of clean sheets. And going forward, that's what we've got to work on. We've got to be more solid defensively. And we've got to be able to take the opportunities when they come along more regularly and more consistently in games. Because, you know, it cost us really big time this season. I say that Tottenham game for me. And then, you know, with 2 defeats, as you rightly said, up until this season, no one had lost more than 2 games and won the league. We'd lost 2 before Christmas. We were always up against it. And that was why I never felt we were going to go on and win the league at that point. And, of course, we know what happened. It wasn't to be in the WSL. And I suppose the only consolation is that we've got that 3rd place in the end quite comfortably. Man United were well off the pace this season. Liverpool, surprisingly, had a great season, didn't they?
Matt Beard got manager of the season, didn't he? Matt Beard got manager of the season. Deserved that.
Yeah, he did. He did, and well done to Matt Beard because he's done a great job there again. Again, you know, he's a great manager. There's no doubt. And you know, the fact that game that we won away at Liverpool looked to be really important now. Because had we lost that game to them, suddenly we would have been fighting for them for 3rd place, wouldn't we? So, but we got the job done. And I suppose if you can't win the league, the most important thing is you've got to come in that top 3, haven't you? You've got to come in that top 3 as a minimum for Arsenal. We've never finished lower than 3rd, I don't think, ever in our history. So that was massively important. And yeah, we got that job done a little bit more comfortably this season than last season, where we didn't really actually seal it, did we? Until I think the second from last game, whatever it was. So it was a lot tighter last season. And this season, we got it done earlier. And, you know, we did at least get something out of the season in the WSL. As I say, not what we really wanted, of course not. We wanted to be up there on the last day with Chelsea instead of Chelsea lifting up that title, didn't we? That's what we wanted to be doing at Meadow Park in Viv's last game. How great would that have been? But anyway, it wasn't meant to be this year, and we had to settle for 3rd place again. But as we've said plenty of times, no more excuses. The WSL next season, we have got to do better. We've got to be challenged.
100%.
We can't say we're going to win it, absolutely not. But we've got to be much, much better. And we've got to be pushing, whether it's Chelsea or whether it's Man City, whether it's Liverpool, whoever it is next season, we have got to be pushing all the way as far as we can. So the last game would be fantastic. Let's give it a much better go next season. I'm sure we will. I'm absolutely sure we will. Terry's with us. Of course, he's with us, as we would expect. He says, good evening, Richard, International Man of Mystery, Andreas. And
the one and only. I am the one and only. Why did you got me the Chesney Hawks reference there? What's that Chesney Hawks reference all about?
Yeah, Chesney, there's nothing wrong with Chesney Hawks. I've seen Chesney Hawks in concert. He was decent.
Why did you get up for Chesney Hawks?
Part of an 80s night, to be fair. But anyway, he was good. He was good. Imperative View says, anyone got any insights on Olivia Smith?
I've seen a bit about that, yeah.
Only she's a young player who scores a lot of goals. But other than that, I don't. Do you know too much about her, Andreas? Not too much. I wouldn't have thought, do you?
The supporters club, they made some investigations about her yesterday, and I'm just checking this out. Yeah, she's not international experienced, but she also played for Portugal, but mostly as a sub. And what is also written, she has pace, and we need some more pace in the team, and
I know they don't seem to show their stats for Sporting. Sorry, Andres, but they don't seem to show the stats for Sporting. But she does look like a promising player. She has been picked for the Canadian Olympic squad. So if we have a chance to watch her maybe during the summer, who knows? Maybe we should see her, check her out, and watch her games and see if she gets any game time. But we'll wait until it's have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't signed it yet, but it's one of these in the pipeline. I mean, yeah, she's a young player, so she's not going to come probably straight into the team. But we need to maybe we do need to bring in a couple of younger players. You know, some of our regular team are getting older, and we need to look at how we're going to replace them going forward. So it could be a good signing, couldn't it? We don't know too much about it, obviously, other than she's 19 and Canadian, and she scored a few goals. I think last season, she scored 16 goals, so that's not bad, is it? So she's obviously got something about her. So let's see how it all works out. Terry says, great goal by Russo today. Let's hope she challenges Super Stina next year.
Play them together, Jonas. Play them together.
She didn't end up too far behind in the end, did she? When at the end of the season, I think it was 3 or 4 goals between them in the end. But yeah, it was a good goal. Got a great cross from young Vivian Leah, and a lovely header from Russo into the goal, and that's what you want to see, isn't it? Imperative View says, would you guys be happy with Mariona Caldente as a replacement to Viv? I don't know if she'd be a replacement for Viv necessarily. They're different type of players. She's a great player. I wouldn't necessarily say no if we signed her. I mean, Andrea should be a good signing, wouldn't she, Caldente?
She would be a good signing. Of course, nobody can replace Viv in her best form. And Mariona is not the real number 10 or number 9. She's more a winger, but she scores lots of goals, and she's experienced, 28 years, I think. So it's not too old. We signed last year Chloe Lacasse, who is 30. So she could be a good addition. And let's see. She's a regular starter for Barcelona, and of course the Spanish league is not as competitive as the WSL, but she's also international experience with Barcelona in the Champions League with the Spanish national team. So as you said, we need younger players with a lot of pace, and that can be developed. Maybe we send them out on loan for a year or so, but we also need experienced players that can help us in the starting 11. And Mariona would be a player for the starting 11. So let's bring her in. I mean, we can't change the decision about Viv. She's leaving. It's over. And so talking about Viv is it's nothing for the future. You can think about it, but whatever you want. For me, it was the wrong decision to let Viv go, but the decision. And so we must look into the future, and Mariona could be a good signing. Bring some quality players in, and she would be a quality player for the starting 11.
Absolutely, no, she would be, and I think the decision to let Viv go isn't going to. We're not really going to know whether it was a right or wrong decision until next season. If we go on and win the treble next season, having let Viv go, then I think we'll have to say that it was the right decision. If we have another really frustrating season like this season, and Viv, if she does go to Man City or wherever, has a great season, then obviously that's going to be a bad decision, and we'll all agree with that. But I agree with you, Andreas. We can't. I've seen too much in the last week or so about Viv leaving as though it's the end of the world and this, that, and the other. Yes, we love Viv. Don't get us wrong, and we'll talk about her a little bit more, I'm sure. But she's left. That decision's been made. The club have made the decision of maybe it was a joint decision between them. We don't know everything yet, but she's left. And as much as we love what she's done for the club, we can't allow ourselves to keep going on about the fact that Viv's left. She's left. That's it. It's done. Yeah. What we have to do is look to the future. And if bringing in a player like Mariona Caldente is going to help us develop as a team and move forward, then we should get behind that now. And what's gone has gone. We can't change it. And we have to get over our own disappointments that Viv's gone. Of course we do. You know, we loved her as a player, but football changes quickly. And sometimes you lose the players that you really love, and you have to move on and get over it. You have no other choice. And you know, I thought Viv got a great send off on Sunday, which was great. She got the goal as well, which was great. But you know, that's it now. That's the line drawn under that. It's a new era for her. It's a new era for us without her, and we move forward. And if Caldente is going to be the one we bring in, she's a great player. Will she replace Viv? No, I don't think anybody will replace Viv. As Andrea said, it's impossible to replace a player that good. But if she comes in and does a great job for us and helps the team to become better, I'm all for it. And I'll be massively, massively happy if we sign a player of that quality. Because she's a good player, isn't she, Emma? I mean, Caldente, she would be a good, not necessarily a signing for the future because of her age, but certainly for the here and now, she'd be a good signing for us, wouldn't she?
Yeah, I mean, she's proven to be a pretty solid penalty taker as well down the years as well. Whether she'll replace Kim Little and do it now, because Kim Little's even missed a few now as well. He missed one at the weekend as well. And I'm not saying that Kim Little isn't. I was still put her house on her 99.9% of the time to score penalty, but she could certainly give us another option in the forward line should we need it, or should somebody get injured. But you've had all that success with Barcelona, yet another Champions League final tomorrow, which promises to be exciting. Difficult one to call, but we can talk about that later. But yeah, no, she does. She has, when she's been playing alongside the world-class players, she has been. I think she could be a replacement. You know, I was speaking to about some the other day as well in the crowd at Meadow Park. That I don't know if it's I think she's in a relationship with Leah Valti, but I don't know how serious it is. But yeah, who knows? Maybe she'll persuade her to come to Arsenal. But yeah, it'll certainly be. I don't know if the answer to maybe our problems we had in front of goal this season just gone, but. Yeah, she'll be a good option to have to add to all the excitement. Whether it's a direct replacement for Viv remains to be seen, but she certainly has the credentials and the talent to. She certainly has the credentials, how do I say, to add further depth in our front line to what we already have. So yeah, I think it would be a good signing. But whether she wants to leave is, I don't know, it's down to her, and maybe Leah could persuade her as well. Who knows? But yeah, it would be good to see somebody like that. Come to Arsenal. Obviously, we'd love Aitana or Alexia to come to the WSL one day, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. So why not get somebody who's played with them, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Terry says get Horan in to replace Viv. We need another Yank. Yeah, she's a good player, actually. She's a good. I mean, she wouldn't be a replacement for Viv, but she's a good player. I think she's a decent player.
She's a good player.
Yeah. Yvette says we had plenty of chances in the Liverpool game. We just didn't convert them. Even today, we weren't converting a lot of our chances. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of young players today, wasn't it? It was a bit of a mix and match team. I'm not going to read too much into today's game, but yeah, obviously the Liverpool game and many others through the season, we missed so many chances, didn't we? Terry says a little bit of perspective from Terry for once. He says, I'm not disappointed in the goals this season because of the injuries and newcomers. I'm just looking forward to clearing up next season. Yeah, that's what we want to do. I think we might well do that.
I think he means cleaning up all the trophies, yeah.
Yeah, cleaning up all the trophies, yeah. Yvette says, we lack a creative midfield player and players are wanting to walk the ball in. Yeah, sometimes they are. I agree with a creative midfield player. Yeah, our midfield players seem very, very similar in terms of they can win the ball and do the simple things well, particularly Vicky Palova. But yes, we do lack that little bit of more creativity in there, and that may be where Caldente maybe comes in. That may be where the new signings, whoever they might be, come and play in that position, maybe. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So let's see what happens there. Yvette says, I hope we can get a good set-piece coach now that Vinquist has left. Yeah, that was an interesting thing this week as well. We weren't great on set-pieces. Jonas had even said himself that one of the differences that Man City had improved to make them from coming fourth to almost winning a title was they were better at set-pieces at both ends of the season. So has that been one of the reasons why we've made that change? Let's see who comes in. And yes, we need to be better. So let's hope whoever comes in can do a better job than what we did last season, and that has to be done, doesn't it? Yvette says, what about mentality? I don't think we've got that burning, winning mentality. I mean, to be honest with you,
I agree. That's what I'm saying. Mentality. I agree.
Only Chelsea have really had that in recent years, haven't they? They've had that win at all costs mentality. I don't think even Manchester City did, and maybe that's why they ended up coming up short at the end of this season. Maybe you're right. Maybe we do need that. I mean, I don't think you can coach that. I think it's either in the players or it isn't, and it's in the group or it isn't. And I do think we've got winners in that team. There's no doubt about that. We've got players that have won big tournaments at international level, at club level. So I do think we've got winners. But yeah, I kind of agree that the mentality is, as Chelsea showed when they had to win against Man United, they didn't just go there and win 1-0. They went there and won 6-0. And that's the sort of mentality that you need. And that's what Chelsea have done year after year after year. And you can see by the players that Chelsea have brought, that Emma's brought in, she's brought in players that have got that, haven't you? Can see that always, every time Chelsea buy a player, you watch them play and you think they're a Chelsea player. You can just see it in them, the way that they play. And maybe we're too, maybe a bit like Arsenal men's team. Maybe we're a little bit too nice sometimes. We're very nice. We've got nice people. We've got nice players, technically gifted players. But are they ruthless enough? We'll see. Maybe we need to add one or two more. But I think mentality is a good point. Actually, I think it's a really good point. And you don't win anything without a winning mentality. Absolutely, you got no chance, because that's almost like 10%, isn't it? I think 90% is probably your physicality, your physical condition, your tactics, your players, and then that 10% extra is that mentality, and that 10% is what gets you over the line, and that's what we have been lacking in the last few years. Absolutely, we have, and I agree. I think that's. Do you think that's right, Andreas? I mean, obviously you're German. The German mentality is renowned, isn't it, for their strong mentality. We've seen it so many times in tournaments with Germany, in the men's team, in the women's team. And that is something that's so important, isn't it? And maybe we are lacking that, aren't we? Or we have been.
Yeah, Germany in former times, long ago.
No. Maybe. When I grew up, that's what I grew up with. Germany having the mentality to win everything, which was quite annoying at the time.
No, I think we were lacking this mentality. For example, at Stamford Bridge in this away match against Chelsea.
Yes.
Due to the circumstances that were not good. Anyway, in this match, Chelsea was from the first second. They showed the will, the power, and passion and everything. What we were lacking in these matches, you decide winning titles or not. And as you said, bringing in players like Myra Ramirez, she's a physical, strong player, and how she made the difference in this match away at Man United.
Oh my goodness!
Myra Ramirez show in the first half.
Bullied them.
Yeah, and
need somebody who bullies more. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I read this one interview from Emma Hayes when she said when the door opened for a few centimeters, everybody knew we would walk through. Yeah, they did. Yeah, it was a small chance. We opened them the door for the few centimeters with the 2 goals from Stina, and Chelsea walked through and said, "Oh, thank you. Then let's win the title." They have this mentality, and maybe no other team in the WSL would have been able to do this in this situation.
No.
After the 4-3 loss against Liverpool. Lacking this mentality. And what one of the comments was, we are trying to take the ball in or walk the ball into the net. Yes. Last season we scored a lot of goals from outside the box with Frida, with Katie, and this season we are always trying one more pass, another pass, and then the ball is lost. So is this a new tactics that Jonas said? Don't shoot from outside the box. Well, no, we were lacking goals from these situations, and of course the set piece situation is something we talk a lot about. It in every match, 10 or 15 corners and no goal. Just bring in the corners and hope something might happen. But there must be changes in offensive set pieces and also in defending set pieces. We needed too many goals from set pieces. Liverpool and Villa in the first matches, they had 1 or 2 chances. It was enough. One corner, one cross. Arsenal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And maybe sometimes that does come down to a bit of mentality, doesn't it? Do you want to win that ball more than your opponent? When that cross comes in, do you want to win that ball more? And sometimes we didn't seem as though we did, because we didn't win it enough, as you said, and we conceded so many daft goals from the same situations time after time. And it is maybe, I think that's the biggest reason why we've made that coaching change, for that reason, because we need to improve. And Jonas knows we need to improve, and he's gone out and he's made that decision, and hopefully we get someone in who can sort that side of our game out. Yes, 1 or 2. He did mention about the height from set pieces we were lacking this season, obviously with Amanda not playing as much as she was taught him for that reason, and then we lost her halfway through the season. So that didn't help. But we've got to be better. But I do agree with the mentality. Definitely, I do think that a mentality is so important, because if you haven't got it, when the pressure's on, you're never gonna get it over the line. And that's something that we've got to improve on. Terry says, let's be fair on the girls. We still had some of our big players coming back and getting match fit. No, you're right. Yeah, we'll be firing on all fronts next season. Invincibles comes to mind. Well, let's see. Let's not get too excited quite yet. But I agree. We did have a lot of issues last season that didn't help. And I agree. Yeah, Beth and Viv were never going to be at their best this season. Leah was never going to be at her best either due to the injuries. So, yeah, we had to take that into account. Greg says, do you think it's possible we'll go after the Barcelona keeper who's out of contract after tomorrow? Personally, I think we're getting either Mary Earps or Daphne Van Domselaar.
Yes.
Do you think so, Emma? Do you think that we might get the Barca keeper? I don't think so.
Sandra Panos?
No.
I don't think so. No, I think I'd go Mary Earps has shown she's a good keeper, but in a big game, she's still, I don't know, they concede a lot of goals. I know Man United's defense is not good, but honestly, I think Daphne, they said, I think there were talks I heard, I don't know, series of rumours again. Another one I've seen, I think it was on a Facebook group or somewhere, Villa wanted Sabrina and they were willing to offer a swap for Daphne. I don't know how true that actually is, but I think she's shown.
I'll settle for that all day long. I
can't wait to see what.
For nearly 2 years since we saw Daphne in the Euros 2 years ago, I said then I want Arsenal to sign her. I just wanted Arsenal to sign her 2 years ago. So if we do get her, I'll be absolutely delighted. So yes, the Barcelona goalkeeper Panios is good, of course, but I don't. Andreas, there's no chance of that, really, is there? Realistically, do you think?
No, we need a tall goalkeeper. She's not tall enough, and you see, she lost her place to Kata Cole, who played a very good World Cup and is now number one in Barcelona. I don't think this would be the signing for the future, Sandra Panos. She wouldn't become number one goalkeeper at Arsenal. Then still Manu will be number one. If we sign Van Domselaar, probably we do, or we hope to do so. She's 23, 24. She's signing for the future and probably the future number one. My preferred signing would still be Mary Earps, but I don't think this will happen because the wages she wants are too high for us. Otherwise, I mean, she's a free agent, but her alternatives are lacking now. So maybe she will be satisfied with less wages, and then it will be possible. But let's see. We need a goalkeeper now. We have only Manu Zinsberger and the very young Naomi Williams without experience. Okay, she played today 30 minutes, but she has never played a WSL match or a Champions League match. So we definitely need an experienced goalkeeper, and I hope we will do a really good signing.
Yeah, I hope we do a really good signing. And Mary Earps might end up going to Barcelona maybe as a replacement.
Although I read somewhere that it depends Manu's thing. I don't know whether again all these things you read somewhere you see this little snippet. I read somewhere that I don't know Manu's wife is due to give birth or something. I don't know if something's going on that they're going to be focus into the family. So I don't know. Again, it depends on whether she wants to be with the wife. But she's been good for us for a while. But I do agree we need a top class goalkeeper with our solid back line that will help us keep more clean sheets next season, enabling us to hopefully go all the way. So I mean, let's see what the summer brings. I know he says we'll have a quiet transfer window. I think 2 or 3 new, or possibly even 4 new signings. I think we need at least to strengthen in the summer.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Kathy says there, Olivia Smith is not the answer. Look at Chloe Lacasse. Portuguese league is nowhere near as competitive.
Yeah, they were in the Champions League, man. They were in the Champions League.
Should have held on to Viv. I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't say Olivia Smith would be the answer directly now, but she's a young player for the future. And if we can buy a young player and develop her and get her used to playing in a more physical English league and this kind of stuff, maybe it can work. In 2 or 3 years, we could have a hell of a player on our hands, couldn't we? So she's not the answer now, absolutely not. You don't sign a 19-year-old to be your star player now, do you? You sign them for the future. And yes, if we can develop her, and I don't think Chloe Lacasse has done too badly coming out of the Portuguese league, actually. She hasn't been given always as many chances as we would like. But yes, she struggles a little bit to adapt, or she did do. But yeah, I would say Olivia Smith would be a decent signing if we can get her for the future, but not right for now. And we should have held on to Viv. We'll see. We'll see what happens over the next year or so before we decide whether or not we should have kept hold of Viv. If Viv wasn't happy, you don't keep an unhappy player. And whatever reason she was unhappy, she's unhappy. She's better off going, isn't she? It's better for everybody. It's better for the club. It's better for her. It's better for her teammates. You don't want an unhappy player in your dressing room there, and however good they are, it's a disruptive influence. It's no good. And I think that maybe that might be what the situation was. So, we're never gonna replace Viv. We're not even gonna try and replace Viv. We just have to accept that she's gone and move on and get not better players, but get good players in to join the squad and improve us. That's what we do. Greg says we don't need a direct replacement for Viv. Her form wasn't great the last few seasons. I think keeping her would have been a liability.
No, come on.
A liability. I definitely agree. I've said on here plenty of times that we haven't seen the best of Viv for 2 years, right? And yes, a lot of that's been taken up by her injury. But even before her ACL, she wasn't on her best form. We hadn't seen her best form for probably a year before her injury. So I kind of agree. I wouldn't say it would have been a liability to keep her. If she's unhappy, it's the right decision to let her go. If she was unhappy, which it seems as though she probably was. So, let's the decision's made now. We could sit here talking about Viv for the next 6 months. It's not going to change anything. She's gone. She's going to play for someone else, and we're going to bring in different players, and we're going to start the new season with a squad that doesn't have Viv in it, and it's going to be difficult to get used to it, but we'll have to. And I agree that her form the last 2 seasons before wasn't great. And if we can get in a player that's going to come and hit the ground running and perform better than Viv performed in the last 2 seasons, then it wouldn't be the bad decision, would it? Ultimately, it won't be the wrong decision. Terry says, I wouldn't worry about Salty FC next season. They'd be lucky if they still have a club the way they're going. Yeah, maybe. So looking at, obviously, Pochettino in sack from the men's team. Obviously, Emma Hayes has just gone for the women's team. They've got a few issues at Chelsea, I think you'll find. But don't worry about that. We don't need to worry about them. Absolutely not. LG says their mentality is instilled by the manager. No, mentality comes from individuals themselves. You've either got a winning mentality in you or you haven't. You can't coach that. You can't push it into somebody. Not a grown adult. Yes, a child you can. If you're coaching an under-8 team, you can maybe instill it in a kid a little bit more, but not a grown adult that's playing professional football. They must have a certain winning mentality to have got to the top of the game anyway. Let's be honest, but you can't coach that into somebody. I'm sorry, you can't. It isn't. No. The manager can have that winning mentality, and he can express it, and he can demand it from the players. But you can't give it to them. They have to have it inside. It's an inside thing, isn't it? It's an inside thing. You can't get it. You have to have it, and then you can work on it and get it and bring it out more. The manager can bring it out more, but he can't make it happen. He can't instill it inside them. It's either there or it's not. And some of our players maybe don't have it enough. Some of them do, and not enough of them maybe do at the moment. But we'll see. Hopefully, we can get more of that to come out. That's what we have to do, obviously. Imperative View says someone as productive on the left wing is a must. I can't have Caitlin starting next season. You love her tenacity and attitude, but her final ball decision is underwhelming, to say that. At times, I'll agree with you. I do like Caitlin. You're right. Her attitude and her work rate is phenomenal. But yeah, maybe sometimes her final delivery isn't always what it should be. I mean, Andreas, how do you feel about Caitlin on the left? Do you think we need someone better in that position going forward?
We need an alternative that Caitlin doesn't have to start every match. You see, when we gave her the chance to rest a bit and brought her in as a sub, she had an influence on the match. And what I like is her will to always go one-on-one. She always tries something, and of course the decision making is not the best sometimes, and she should score more goals. But all in all, I like the style she's playing, and in most matches, the passion with which she's coming on, and the work rate she does. She never gives up, and she always tries again. So but we need an alternative. Starting her every match, and then she goes to the national team, the long flights, and all this. Give her a rest from time to time, and therefore we need another winger. But there was no alternative. We had this dilemma with Gio. That's a risk when you sign young players. But I think there were mistakes done from player side and from the club side that she had to go. And then there was only Chloe, who could play on the right and the left wing, or Katie McCabe, but she's also not the perfect left winger, which we need. Yeah, great players, but yeah, we need some more firepower from the left wing, and at least someone who, yeah, with whom we can rotate. Yeah, we very often come again to Emma Hayes. She's rotating and she's using her squad of 25 players. They all get their game time, and yeah, we had a big squad, but not with the quality in all 25 players. And this should change for the next season.
Yeah, absolutely right, absolutely right, and yeah, I do like Caitlin though, and I'd feel a little bit sad if she left, I suppose. But yeah, I think we do need. Obviously, you can't get too many good players, can you? I mean, Emma, would you want to see Caitlin not necessarily replaced, but maybe some competition there, so she isn't playing every single game? I know Chloe Lacasse is kind of competition, but I mean, we could do with maybe signing someone in that position, couldn't we?
Yeah,
Lauren
well,
Hemp would have been great.
yeah, I don't know
Lauren
whether. Oh, obviously, well, Lauren M's going to be signed the City now towards 2027, so that's not what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, I don't have anything against Kate now. She's a very talented player. She has that link up with Steph down the left-hand side, and they know each other's games inside out. So yeah, I wouldn't maybe not start her as much, but I mean, again, it's with all those options, it's difficult to know. As I've been saying throughout the season, it's difficult to know who to start, but. I wouldn't necessarily drop her. She does bring you a lot of. She does make good decisions in the final third, but maybe it could be better. And she does link up well with the likes of Leslie Russo and Beth Mead. So I don't know whether we need another winger remains to be seen, but or whether Olivia Smith does indeed turn out to be the answer. But yeah, just it's difficult to know. I think where there is main area we need to strengthen is we probably need another goalkeeper, as you said, probably another defender. I know Emily Fox has slotted in nicely, but maybe we could do another centre back or a centre back or or possibly another left back. Should one of the Leah or Steph get injured, another maybe combative defensive midfielder, as we've missed Leah for the last 3 months of the season, and possibly another left-sided midfielder. Whether Mariona will come in remains to be seen, but. Yeah, I mean, it's just this. What we need more to see more of is to see players played in the right position, and also the fact that we don't always seem to. What the issue for me, not last season maybe as much, but this season was maybe that the manager doesn't know his settled starting 11, which can rely on week in week out, like you maybe see with the men's team or with Chelsea's women, for example. So yeah, we need to have a settled starting 11 that the manager can trust on, and then the players who are more than capable of coming off the bench and having an impact can do their bit if things aren't going so well. So I would like just to see some more stability and some more and a more settled starting 11 ultimately.
Yeah, no, I think that's important. But yeah, I think maybe a little bit of extra quality competition in that position would be good. LG says Chelsea doesn't care about looks; they care about winning. When it comes to Arsenal, it's all about looks. Personal lives of players and TikTok content. It does seem to be, but that's because Arsenal players are a lot more popular. You know, no one cares about the Chelsea players' personal lives, do they? Who cares? Nobody. Whereas Arsenal players are more interesting and they've got more interesting lives and they're just more interesting to follow. So that'll be the reason. I don't think Arsenal necessarily are going down that route. It just so happens we've got very interesting players, haven't we? Leah Williamson, for example, obviously Viv when she was there, Beth. These are all interesting people that people want to find out more about. No one cares about any of the Chelsea players, do they? No one cares about their lives, so it's not their fault. It's not Arsenal players' fault that they're more interested, is it? We shouldn't punish them for that, should we? OJ96 says City are a major competitor next season, given the team they've assembled. Absolutely, but there's nothing between us squad-wise. No, there isn't. He said, I think that's why it's the managers. Personally, I can only take one more season of Jonas. Well, let's see. Yeah, let's see where we are next season. If next season's no different to this season, then Jonas won't get any more seasons. I think that's obvious. But if next season we do much better, we win something other than the Continental Cup, then I think we'll be happy with him, won't we? Imperative View says, is Daphne good on the ball? I don't care. She's a goalkeeper. As long as she keeps it out of the net, that's all I'm bothered about. If you want a goalkeeper who's good on the net, I'm sorry, but then play different type of football. Just if she can boot the ball away from the goal, she can keep it out and save and dive about, which I've seen her do. That's all right for me. I don't care if she can kick the ball. I don't care if she's I don't care if she's not. If she can't play in midfield, that's not her job. Her job's to keep the ball out of her net. And as far as I'm concerned, if she does that well, I'm happy. And I think she does from what I've seen of her. But there you go. LG says Def Taxes and Zinsberg are signing yet another contract. That seems to be the case, doesn't it? But at the moment, we need Manu Zinsberger because we don't have another experienced goalkeeper, do we? But I'm sure we'll get better. But we shall see. Terry says, I think it depends on do you want medals and trophies in your career or money? Yeah, maybe it comes down to a little bit of that. I mean, if you're good, you might get both. You might get medals and trophies and money. Why not? That's got to be the goal, hasn't it? But there you go. OJ96 says there to the panel, who is your starting centre-back pairing next season? Oh, that's an interesting one. Andreas, who would be your starting centre-back pairing next season? If everybody's fit, as things stand, obviously, we might bring someone in. But as it stands now, who would your starting pairing be?
As it stands now, if they are fit, it's Leah and Lotta. For me, centre-back.
Second.
One, and then we have Laya coming in, and the rest must be decided who goes on loan. What about Taya or Katie Reed? Is someone coming in? When is Amanda coming back? But if they are fit, Leah and Lotta are very solid together, and they both they represent the club with passion and love, and I think they would be the perfect pair in centre-back position for me.
It's hard to disagree. Emma, who would be yours? Obviously, as things are currently staying, we don't know what's going to happen this time. But at the moment, who would your starting centre-back be?
Yeah, I second that. It's hard to see beyond those two. When they play together, they know each other's games, and they can be relied upon maybe to have the, which we didn't have. We had quite a few partnerships this season. Remember, Steph and Lotte also played together last season when Leah was injured, and it's got to be those two. It's hard to see beyond that, really. And Stefan left, and it's difficult to know to right. Do you play Laura or do you play Emily? It's a difficult one there as well. But that's for the manager to decide. But for centre back, it's definitely got to be Leah and Lotte without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, I'm going to throw something a little bit different in. I'm going to throw something a little bit different into the pot here. What I would say, as things stand right at this moment in time, with everybody that we've got in the squad, I would actually play Lotta and Leah at centre-back and Leah in midfield as that creative midfield that we're missing with her passing. That's what I would actually do. As with the squad that we've got now, because I think Leah Cadena has been brilliant when she's played, and I think she could really develop well. Obviously, Lotta's been fantastic, so of course she's going to play. And I would actually put Leah in midfield because she can do a great job there. I know she doesn't necessarily, it's not her favoured position necessarily, but she's played there. She played there for the Lionesses for a long time, didn't she, before the Euros? And I think maybe I would be tempted to try that for a bit and see how that works, actually. But we're lucky that we've got three really good centre-backs, aren't we? We're lucky to have that, actually. And it's just getting that right pair in there, getting the right partnership to work, because that's where you get your clean sheets from, don't you? So let's see. Terry says, you're either born a winner or not. No, I agree with that. Yeah, I think it's in you, that competitiveness. But I think to be a professional sports person, you have to have it anyway. You'd never make it at that level if you didn't have it. You've got to. So I do think there's levels to it, though, isn't there? That you can be competitive up to a point, but it's that win at all costs. That's where nothing else matters other than winning. And that's, you've either got that or you haven't. I agree. Absolutely 100%. Imperative View says, Lotta and Leah. Any other answer is wrong. Well, you are probably right, actually.
Dismissive, man.
Let's be honest, you are right. But I thought I'd throw something different in just for a change, really, just so we can have a think about something else. Greg says the pull of playing at the Emirates next season, a lot of players would want to come to us. No, I agree with that as well. Yeah, not just playing at the Emirates, but the fact that they're playing in front of 40, 50, 60,000 people on a regular basis. That's the point, isn't it? And that's, of course, that's going to bring a lot of people. All these, great players who play for maybe teams like Lyon and whoever it is, in some of the German players, they don't play in front of them crowds. Even in Spain, they don't. So, I'm sure that's going to be a massive, massive thing. Imperative View says, Caitlin would be a great 12th player, her aggression and tenacity when the opponents are tired. Yeah, no, I agree. She would be a great impact sub. Yeah, absolutely she would. But we'll see what happens there. Imperative View makes an interesting point. I see parallels between Caitlin and Martinelli. both possess great tenacity, aggression, and never say die attitude, but really
Yeah, but
inconsistent.
Martinelli's only 22.
Someone similar to Trossard to level.
22.
No, I agree with it, actually. Yeah, Caitlin and Martinelli.
He's
Yeah,
22.
I can see similarities. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would agree with it. So the Champions League was a write-off. That was it. Bang. Early doors. The WSL was a bit of a write-off, certainly up to after Christmas. That's the two cup competitions. The FA Cup didn't last very long, did it? I mean, Watford were beaten pretty comprehensively, and it was good to see Michelle Aubameyang score for Watford against us, which was an unusual thing to happen. Our own player scoring against us on loan, and of course we know what happened against Man City, which was disappointing and frustrating because we didn't actually play badly that game. We were a little bit unfortunate to lose 1-0, and had we beaten them, who knows where we might have gone in the FA Cup. You know, I know Man City ended up getting knocked out by Chelsea, didn't they? But who knows what might have happened.
It was Tottenham.
They got knocked out by Spurs.
Yeah.
They did get knocked out. Of course they did. Yeah, they didn't
United knocked Chelsea out. United knocked Chelsea.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, we did lose to Spurs in the league, but you'd have fancied our chances against them. But yeah, who knows what might have happened. So that was, I mean, Andreas, obviously the FA Cup should have been better, could have been better. And I thought we was unlucky against Man City, wasn't we? Because there was that goal at the end that did it cross the line, did it not? Probably did, but no way of proving it. And I thought overall we were a little bit unfortunate, wasn't we? Because I thought we played okay that day. It wasn't a bad performance, was it really?
No, it wasn't a bad performance. Was unlucky in the draw to draw one of the big teams in such an early stage of the FA Cup. This is just unlucky. But we had the home match, and it was. Yeah, you can't say that we played bad, but it was a match that both teams could win, and City was more lucky on this day. Maybe if we would have the goal line technology, then we go to extra time. We don't know. Even now, we can't say whether this ball was behind the line or not. But anyway, it was two very good teams playing. Both could win. City was the luckier team on this day. But of course, it's always disappointing to go out in the FA Cup so early, because normally we should be there at least until semifinals, at least. But, well, happened.
Yeah, I mean, you can't always guarantee you're going to get a nice, favourable draw. It was a tough draw. And Man City obviously were one of the best teams this season. They finished a goal difference away from winning the league. So it was a tough one. But yeah, I thought we was unlucky. Goal line technology would maybe have helped us out. We won't know for certain because we don't know if it did cross the line. But yeah, we were unfortunate and I think a bit like the Champions League and some of those WSL games. It was more feeling of frustration, wasn't it, that we'd lost a game that maybe we shouldn't have lost, and that happened a few times this season. And of course, in the cup, you can't afford to lose a game in a cup where you're out, and that's what happened. I mean, Emma, that was frustrating, was it, the Man City game? Because I thought we was really unfortunate to lose that one.
Yeah, I mean, again, saw plenty of the ball. Don't remember too much about it. Yeah, I think we had difficult to. Hello, what's going on? Can you still hear me? Sorry, can you still hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh no, I thought something gone wrong. I thought something gone wrong there. No, it was one of those games again where we had plenty of the ball, but again, we were suck a punch from a set piece, and maybe it was a goal at the end. I don't know. It was tough to tell, but I know we haven't had the best luck of the draw the last couple of seasons. Well, we lost to Chelsea twice, we lost to Chelsea, Man City twice, and Chelsea the last 4 out of the last 5 seasons or something like that, and we haven't had the best of luck. But at home we should be doing better, and we didn't really play well enough on that day. We had chances, but again, you have to give a lot of credit to their keeper as well on that day. I remember as well, he made a couple of outstanding saves. I think Kim and Vic, and it was one of those that just ultimately came down to just not being able to clear their lines, and again summed up the season in a way. But we showed that in the league that we can compete against them. They had the laugh, but ultimately we showed what we can do against them in the league. But yeah, I mean, not tonight. I've won it now for 8 years now for a club of our stature, and when we won it 14 times, we must try to go as far as possible. I know we lost a couple of finals, but we really want to see us back at Wembley one day. And I think Obviously, I don't want to look too far ahead, but we should all, if they were all to get to Wembley again, maybe we should all get together and do something. But that remains to be seen whether that actually happens. But no, I mean, I suppose one highlight was the win over Watford and seeing the debut of the all-white kit, which I thought looked, which they can only obviously wear once a season. But no, it was that was a highlight, and enjoyed watching that on my birthday. So still, there were some positives to pick out of the campaign, but I just hope that maybe we can get a bit of luck with the draws in the future.
We shouldn't be playing in white, should we? Let's be honest. There's only one team in North London that play in white, and they are the losers. So
yeah, but is it a normal red kit?
I know the reason behind it. I know the reason behind it. It's a great reason, all this kind of stuff, right? And I agree with all of that. But we shouldn't be wearing white, should we? We shouldn't have a white kit.
Well, we wear red and white.
We play in red and white. That's what we don't play in white. Only one crap team from North London play in white, not us. So we need to remember that next time. And maybe find another way to make that point that they're making about knife crime, etc. Try and find a different way to make that point. Don't let us wear a white kit. Anyway, Greg says there we would have done better if Amar didn't go on holiday halfway through the season. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point. I agree with you.
Don't blame me for going on holiday.
I agree with you. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That's definitely why it all went wrong.
I've been on holiday in 2 years, man. I've been on holiday in 2 years. I needed my break.
Well, you went on holiday twice in quick succession, and it threw us. That's what it was. The team you unsettled the team by going away twice so that quickly, and it just threw them off their track. That's what.
Yeah, I unsettled you, and that's it.
Imperative View says, if you lot could sign any player to be a game changer, who would it be? My choice would be someone who we're never going to sign. As I mentioned before, Lauren Hemp for me. If we sign Lauren Hemp, that would be a game changer because she is an amazing player, and I've always wanted her to play for Arsenal. So I would pick Lauren Hemp. Andreas, who would be your game changer? It doesn't matter if we never sign him. It doesn't matter if you could pick anybody ever that was playing now. Who would it be?
Right now, it would be Aitana Bonmati from Barcelona.
Yeah, that's a fair shout.
Never come to us, unfortunately.
No, she'd never come to us, but that's I mean, you can't get much better than pretty much the best player in the world. Amari would be your choice. Any player in the world you could buy right now.
Can I go for a defender? Can I go for a defender?
Anyone you like.
Wendy Renard.
Well, Wendy Renard would be a great player. Absolutely, I love it. I think she's great.
I suppose if you're looking at more modern day defenders, I don't know, it's a difficult one, but I'd love to see. I know it's unlikely to happen, but I'd love to see somebody like Lucy Bronze come and help us out as well.
Yeah, I mean, in her day maybe, but yeah.
But if I'd probably say Wendy because she's just a different. She makes defending look like she's been doing her whole life, you know.
No, Wendy Renard would be a great side. He's a great. When we saw Holland play France in the Euros at Rotherham, and honestly, I've never seen such a performance from a defender. She was absolutely brilliant. What an incredible player! I mean, I've seen her on the telly and think, she's decent, but seeing her live play, she was just incredible, honestly. And I remember that. Funny enough, that was the night where Wendy Renard had about 5 chances to score, and Daphne Van Domselaar saved them all. And one save that she made in the second half. That was what convinced me we need to buy Daphne Van Domselaar because she was basically stopping everything. Wendy Renard's headers from corners and everything, and she was saving them all. And it was like, wow, we need to get the Terry says, Holland, yes, we know. Okay, you made your point. You like Holland, fair enough. But there you go. Imperative View says, it seems like the top teams are picking their prized assets from Wolfsburg. I would have loved Lena Overdorf. And Arsenal. I don't think you would you? We've had this conversation before.
Sydney Lohman.
She's from Munich.
Sorry.
From Wolfsburg, I think the 2 wingers, Jon Stottier or Jule Brandt.
Yes.
21, 22 years young, with a lot of pace wingers. This would be the type of player we would need.
Yeah, but not Lena Oberdorf, obviously.
FC. Imagine her and Katie playing together, man. Goodness me.
Well, we wouldn't keep 11 players on the pitch, would we? That's the problem. Imperative View says Naomi Germa or Delphi Cascarino. Cascarino's a great player, yeah. Delphi, again, we saw her live in that game and she was brilliant as well. So yeah, Yvette says Selma Basha. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one as well. Yeah, good. Well, all these great players are all over the place, so it's nice. Terry says Dennis Bergkamp in a dress. Well, yeah, I think he's a bit,
he was famously had the phobia of flying. So yeah.
Well, he did actually, yeah. So there won't be much use in the Champions League, would he? But anyway, LG says your brand is not clinical.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's not the sort of player I would necessarily be looking at, but a good player nonetheless. There's a lot of good players, isn't there? Let's be honest. So yeah, everything else this season tended to kind of fall away and not really end too well. But there was one competition again that's kind of saved our season for the second year running. And once again, we made it all the way through to the final and played Chelsea. And what an actual brilliant day that was. I mean, it was fantastic, wasn't it? It was a fantastic atmosphere. It was a really intense game of football. Obviously, it was quite emotional with what happened with Frida. And ultimately, of course, the glory at the end when Stina popped up with that goal right at the end of the game, right in front of where we were, behind that goal we were. And it was just, it was, you know, yes, the Continental Cup isn't the pinnacle of women's football from Arsenal perspective, right? It's not. There's no getting away from it. Arsenal should be winning bigger trophies in the Continental Cup, but winning a cup is difficult to do. And in any time, it's difficult to win a trophy. So to win a trophy 2 years running was an amazing achievement. And yes, it's been mentioned before, papering over the cracks and this kind of stuff. And in a way, I kind of get that. And maybe to a certain degree it is. Without winning that cup this season, finishing third and winning no trophy, that would have been a really bad season, a poor season. Going out the Champions League the way that we did. So the Continental Cup has given us, yes, it's saved Jonas's job to a certain degree. It may be giving him at least another year. And I think it's given us all something that we can look back on this season and say, you know what, that was something absolutely special. And it was special. I was so glad that we went. I was so glad to have been there on that day, to have witnessed that live. But yes, in the overall scheme of things, it's not enough and we need to do more. But I mean, Andreas, we can't dismiss a trophy, can we? No matter what trophy it is, it's a major trophy. We had to get through a lot of games to get to the final with a group stage that we had to play as well. You know, we almost went out when we played Tottenham. We'd lost that game. We would have even qualified. So, you know, the penalty shootout, Jen Beattie, of course, that winning penalty, as Terry loved, as we all did at the time. So, you know, that was, we had our ups and downs in the run, really, didn't we? That night could have gone against us, but we got through. We steamrolled our way through the knockout stage, and of course in the final, absolutely brilliant. I mean, Andreas, it was great, wasn't it? But it's not enough.
Yeah, I mean, a trophy is a trophy, and we won this cup now the second year running, and it wasn't a piece of cake for us. We had to go through the group stage this time, other than last season. We had to play all these group stage matches, and as you said, it was a very narrow thing in group stage. If we lose this penalty shootout against Spurs, okay, we probably would have qualified as best second place team. But anyway, it shows it was not too easy. And then there were two knockout matches, and we beat Villa very comfortably. And in the final, Chelsea, the title holder, the league champions for 4 or 5 years running, and we beat them the second time in a row. And not with luck that you say Chelsea would have deserved to win and Arsenal was. No, we were the better team all over the 120 minutes, and we deserved the win. This was a very passionate performance. Everybody was giving their utmost from the beginning, and yeah, it was a great final. It was a home match atmosphere in a sold-out Molineux Stadium. Yeah, fantastic atmosphere, and for me, the bus trip from London to Wolverhampton, just great. And it was really great to be a part of this winning the cup. And yeah, we won a trophy. And of course, this saved our season. Clearly, it saved our season. It saved Jonah's job. In the end, it's another trophy. And look at City. They finished second in the league. They went out at semi-final in the FA Cup, out in group stage of the Continental Cup, and they
go to the semi-finals of the Conti Cup.
No, United that went out in.
Forget United. Forget United. Sorry.
Yeah, you see, it's not that easy.
No, sorry.
And we won a competition, so yeah, it saved our season, and let's hope next season we will win something better than the Conti Cup. But anyway, yeah, you have to win. You have to win this. And if we lose the final against Chelsea, then everybody would say, "Oh, nothing, trophyless season for Arsenal." And now it's not a trophyless season. We've got something. And when you were there at Wolverhampton, you saw how the team celebrated and how much it meant to them. Yeah. So it was really a great day.
And how much it meant to us as well as fans. I mean, it was. You can't. I don't care what competition it is. You can never ever get enough of seeing your team win a cup final, win a trophy. No. There's nothing better. So, yes, it's not the one we all wanted. Obviously not. But the alternative is not winning anything. So it's 100 times better than that, isn't it? And as Greg says, at least we haven't gone 4 years without winning anything. Exactly. We haven't. Jonas has won 2 trophies in 3 seasons. The guy's done all right, and he's done all right. Terry says if we hadn't won the cup, we would have been the men's team.
Yeah, exactly. He was always criticising Arteta, whatever, mate.
We would have been the men's team. You're absolutely right. LG says, imagine if AFTV covered the women's team and we'd not win the league for another 20 years. I mean, to be honest with you, I think it's great that other channels are covering the women's game. But yeah, I agree. I wouldn't want AFTV anywhere near the women's team, if I'm honest. I wouldn't want them anywhere near it. OJ96 says, if you were to have one player from the past Arsenal women's teams into the current team, who would you... Oh, that's a great question, isn't it? A past Arsenal player. Greg's gone straight in with Kelly Smith. Well, you can't really argue with Kelly Smith. She was fantastic. I quite like Julie Fleeting, actually. I thought she was a great player as well. Andreas, who would you go with? One Arsenal women's player from the past, anyone that you could have?
I think the one we are missing the most is a player who scores or guarantees 15 to 20 goals every season. So maybe it would be Kelly Smith. Yes, that would be my first choice.
Well, yeah. Kelly Smith was amazing, wasn't she? Omar dropped out, but he's back again now. Omar, who would your player from the past be?
Yeah, obviously Kelly Smith. We had so many great players. I mean, if I had to, I'd pick Vic Akers to come and manage the team again if he could, but no.
I think we'd all have Vic Akers.
We'd definitely be winning the league week in, week out. But that's a tough one. That's tough. I would like to say, I tell you, a player was really underappreciated who brought a lot of team. I'd like to see somebody like Jane Ludlow come back into the side because of what she brought. She scored lots of goals. Was a very underappreciated player in my opinion. And I would probably like to see somebody like Jane Ludlow come back, I would say.
Yeah, Ludlow was good. Terry's gone with Rachel Yankee. She was a great player as well, wasn't she? And, as much as she's not that great on the TV, Alex Scott was pretty good, weren't she? Let's be honest.
Alex Scott's all right. She's fine.
She was a decent. Well, I liked Alex Scott. I thought she was a decent player when she played. I don't like her so much now, but anyway, LG's gone with Jane Ludlow as well. Very physical, scores goals from midfield. Arsenal women's all-time top goal scorer. Jane Ludlow was a very good player as well. We've been lucky, haven't we? There's been so many, and the fact that we've got so many to choose from is actually a good thing, isn't it? Imagine being like someone like not very good. That's not got any good players. We could name a few teams, but we've got lots, haven't we? So we're lucky. But there's so many great names. I mean, I think Kelly Smith would be everybody's probably first choice. Let's be honest, because what more could you want to play like that? Or maybe a peak of Viv Miedema might not be too far away. Peak Viv Miedema for maybe 2019, 2018, 2019, that kind of. Talmont says they're player from the past, Kelly Smith. Yeah, I think everyone would pick Kelly Smith as a first choice, but we need to look sometimes a little bit elsewhere as well, don't we? But we shall see. Yvette says, do you think either Michelle Aubameyang or Vivian Leah will get in our first team? I think they'll play some games, Continental Cup. If obviously hopefully we won't be in the group stage, but they might play a few. They'll get some substitute appearances as they did this year potentially, but they're not going to start many games, are they? Because we want to be challenging for the league. You don't tend to challenge for the league when you've got young players who've not really played much, getting too many minutes in the team. But I'm sure they'll be on the bench, coming on and hopefully making a big impact and going on from there. Let's hope so, because we do love a good young player that's come for our academy, don't we? Right, okay. We need to get into our end of season awards, don't we? Because it's exciting. What's everybody going to vote for? There's so many choices, so many great things.
Let's do it.
So let's get it done. So let's start with one that may be obvious or maybe not obvious, but we'll start here anyway. Now, for me, there's probably two big choices here. Obviously, there you saw the Continental Cup final. We just spoke about it then. That was an incredible game, and that has to be up there. Or I suppose the Chelsea game in the WSL when we absolutely smashed them 4-1. That was incredible as well. They would be either of those two. I would be happy to select. Andreas, what would be your match of the season? You went to so many of them, so you've probably got even more choices than us.
These are the two matches on my notifications here. If I have to decide between the Conti Cup final and the home match, I think the better match was the home match versus Chelsea. You can't do better than in this match, and smashing them 4-1 was just
could have been 7 or 8.
and they were lucky not to concede 6-7 goals.
Yeah, I agree.
This would have been deserved result, 7-1 or something like that. So maybe this was our best match of the season.
Yeah, it probably was our best performance. Yeah, LG's gone the same. Arsenal 4, Chelsea 1. Hard to disagree. I just think the cup final. It was a cup final. We beat them and we won a cup. But anyway, Emma, what would be your match of the season?
It's hard to disagree with that, but I'd also like to mention the record-breaking crowd, which we set happened to be one of the questions in the quiz of the day as well. The record crowd for the 3-1 win on the Saturday lunchtime kickoff against Manchester United, or the charts about Mark Skinner meeting Andreas going to the pub for a drink afterwards for a first time as well. So I think that was just a fantastic day. And so for me, that as an alternative, I would say that was match of the season because of the record-breaking crowd too. So. Yeah, whilst I wasn't at the Chelsea game, which was many choices match of the season, as an alternative, I would say the Manchester United game as well.
Yeah, no, we had some great performances at the Emirates, actually. There were some great games. Greg's gone Chelsea at home.
Yeah.
It's hard to disagree. Beating Chelsea 4-1, it's hard to disagree with that not being a game of the season. But I think the cup final certainly made it close, or maybe even pipped it. Maybe just pipped it for me because we actually won a cup at the end of it. And we blew Emma's chance of winning a quadruple in her final season. I personally would choose a cup final, but I think the 4-1 win in the league has got to probably be the actual winner in the end for that one. Not all these awards are going to be for good things. Let's have one that maybe not quite so good. But again, I think there's probably two big winners here.
Oh, I thought it was flop of the season. Yeah, it was flop of the season. You had originally, didn't you? Yeah.
Biggest disappointment of the season, I suppose we've talked about the Champions League exit. That's got to be up there, hasn't it? Disappointment of the season. Obviously, the Sockgate Chelsea game, that was a terrible performance. That was one of the biggest disappointments. So for me, it's difficult to choose between them two. Probably the Champions League exit because of the impact that had on the season. I mean, Andreas, what would be your biggest disappointment?
Yeah, of course, the Champions League out. And I remember that after this match against Paris FC, I needed 2 or 3 days in which I didn't want to talk about football. I was so disappointed. We had on Monday after this match our German talk, and I said to the host, please don't ask me about our Champions League qualifiers against.
Oh no!
It was. Yeah, I felt like
I was so disappointed, but it was a point when you thought the season hadn't started, but it's all over.
It felt that way, yeah. It did feel that way, absolutely. No, I think we'd have to definitely agree there. Emma, would you say the biggest disappointment was the Champions League exit or something else, maybe?
Yeah, it's hard to think what else could have been disappointing as well. I suppose, obviously, if you want I like to alternatives to what the majority of people think as well. So I would say, that was very disappointing. The manner of that as well. As I said, the defensive errors and losing on penalties as well to a team we should have beaten. Not being back in the league, which just cannot happen again for a club of our stature. And but another biggest disappointment, I suppose, why not look back to only 2 weeks ago and Viv sadly announced that, we announced that Viv was leaving. So I said that was equally a bigger disappointment because you lose such a world-class player. And I just hope we can find a genuine goal scorer to replace her. So alongside that, I would say those were my biggest disappointments of the season.
Yeah, obviously Viv Lee was a big disappointment for everybody. There's no doubt about that. Talking about a game of the season, LG's got honourable mention. Leicester 2, Arsenal 6.
The second
half of the season. The first half was terrible, but the second half was amazing. So that'll be the second half of the season potentially. That was a great game, though. Terry says his biggest disappointment was Amar going to see Take That. That was a good shout. That might have to win, actually. That might have to win. LG's gone, Champions League exit, of course. No doubt about that. Lethal Chicken says the first half, especially away at Chelsea, that was hard. The second half was better, That Chelsea performance was really, really bad, wasn't it? Greg says not playing Steiner unless he can have every game. Yeah, that was disappointing as well. You're absolutely right. It was disappointing. And when it started to happen more at the end, we started to see how it can work. So it was disappointing that it wasn't used more often. But I think the Champions League exit has to win that one. I think there's no question about that. Next one, again, there's maybe one or two potential options here, but I think again there might be a clear winner, but we'll see. So the signing of the season, we made a few throughout the season. I think the two that stand out for me, obviously, Leslie Russo, what a fantastic footballer she is. Got a lot of goals in the end. And, of course, Emily Fox, who joined only in January. What a signing she is as well. What a fantastic player she is. So I think those two probably are going to shade it here. But, obviously, Leslie Russo played the whole season. So I would be tempted to go with her. Andreas, who would be your signing of the season? We made a few.
Yeah, of course. The winner is Leslie. Of course, I loved her before she joined us. I was so happy that we signed her, and I think she had a really good season. She scored more goals for us than she did in her best season for United. And we saw that that potential that is in her work rate and how quick she adapted with the other players from the team and how much she's working for the team. She scored 12 goals in WSL, I think 16 in total. She had a lot of assists, and of course she's the signing of the season. But all thumbs up also for Emily. Maybe if she played the whole season for us, we would say she's the signing of the season, because nobody expected her to come in January, mid of January, and then start playing as she was there for years. She had no problems to adapt to the WSL. She fitted in the team very well. So very, very good signing. And of course, a good signing also is Kyra, next position in midfield and hope for the future. I think she offers a lot for the future.
I think all the signings this season have done well, haven't they? We had two good transfer windows. I think the players that we brought in have all been great signings, actually. But I think Leslie probably is going to shade it there. I don't think there's much doubt about that. Talmot says best game, beating Man City 2-1. That was great.
Which one?
Disappointment. Even probably the one at the end of the season, I would imagine, because that was great, wasn't it? Lethal Chicken says Fox is the signing of the season for me. Is that because you're a chicken and they like foxes, or foxes like that? Terry's gone with Fox as well. Yeah, I knew Emily Fox would get a few. Yvette's gone at Leia Cadena, a winner. I think she's been a great signing as well. Another one, a good signing. She had her difficulties at the beginning, but once she settled in, I think she's been brilliant. Yeah, that's a good shout as well. Greg says has to be Russo, getting her for free. Obviously, getting her free is brilliant. LG's gone Alessia as well. OJ, Emily Fox. Yeah, see, Emily Fox has had a few there. Terry says Fox will be world class. Well done, Jonas. Lethal Chicken says, yep, she can't catch me either. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I knew there was a fox and a chicken in there somewhere. I couldn't quite get it. Emma, your signing of the season, which one would you go for out of all the
it's hard to look beyond those two in there. I mean, Amanda did all right when she was there. She did score a few goals, but she still took a little bit. Yeah. She was, I would say she was all right. Chloe didn't get as much game time as I'd like, but she scored some good goals, some superb goals for us, was especially against one which we'll mention later in the award, in a later award. But yeah, I think it's tough to look beyond either those three. It's Kyra or sorry, I'm just going blank. It's been a long day. Kyra, Leslie, or Emily. I think Emily just slotted in beautifully. When I saw that debut against Watford, I thought, oh, what a fantastic signing she's going to be. Okay, it was only in the FA Cup, but I know she looks like to play forward. She links up the play very well. And so yeah, it's a difficult one. But also, how about? I know it was only 3 days ago, but how about Stina signing the new contract? That for me was also the best signing of the season, even though it's post-season. So good to have her stay on as well is very good for us too.
No, I mean, it's great that obviously I'm delighted that Stina signed. A little bit of a surprise, I must admit. I thought she was going to leave, if I'm honest, but that's great news. I mean, the only thing with Leslie Russo, I think because she was playing instead of Stina for pretty much half of the season, it was annoying me. And that's nothing against Leslie, because I love Leslie. I love Leslie when she was playing for England and when she was at Man U, but it was annoying me that it wasn't her fault, obviously, that she was getting picked ahead of Stina. But towards the end of the season, as Stina started playing with Leslie, I started to warm to Leslie a lot more. I think she's a great player, of course she is, and she is going to be the signing of the season. I don't think there's much doubt about that. But yeah, Emily Fox, had she joined in the summer, she would definitely have been up there. Talbot's gone Russo or Fox. Yeah, I think that's obvious. That is obvious that it would be one of those two, I think, really. But yeah, Amanda was a good shout. She had a decent start to the season, but of course, she didn't play for most of the second half, so difficult to give her any kind of winning on that particular one. Yeah, I think Leslie is a good choice there. Now, this is an award, again, it's not necessarily a great award, and no one really wants it. But someone's got to win it, and we shall see. There might be one or two options here. So the flop of the season, maybe the player that didn't maybe live up to expectations or didn't quite hit the ground running or didn't hit the heights we hoped. Unfortunately, the picture says it all there for me. I would have to go with Lena Hurtig. Not just this season either, unfortunately. Since she's joined us, it's not quite worked out for one reason or another, injuries, whatnot. And she's never, I felt that she's got something there in her. I think she's a good player. It's never quite come out, has it, at Arsenal? So for me, she would be the flop of this season and potentially last season as well, if I'm honest. But it's unfortunate because I do like Lena, but it's never quite worked, has it? So out of all the players, I don't think anybody's had a terrible season necessarily, but it's just she's just not played, injuries and personal issues and whatnot. So yeah, sorry, Lena, I love you, but you're going to get that award for me. Andreas, who would you give that to? It's not a nice award, but someone has to win it, I'm afraid.
It's brutal to say this about Lena because she was injured most of the season, and now the last matches she missed due to personal reason. We don't know what this means, whether there are problems in her family or something like that. Therefore, it's hard to say flop of the season, but player-wise, yeah, you're right, of course. But another flop of the season is concerning how the club dealt with Gio. I think this is something. I wouldn't say Gio is the flop of the season because she never had a chance to prove herself. But the way this situation was handled by the club and by her management, by herself, and not going out on loan in the first half of the season, then not being registered, no chance to get minutes. And then going out on loan to Spain, and some statements, some interviews she gave was not the best way to talk about your club that is already your parent club who's paying your wages. So the whole situation around you from both sides, player side and club side, is maybe you could call it flop of the season.
Yeah, I agree with the situation rather than the player in that case. I would say, yeah, you're right. It was really badly handled. Absolutely, a very good young player that's just been hung out to dry a little bit, really, which was really, really bad. She got treated really badly, actually, and I don't blame her at all. And yeah, some of her comments weren't great. You've got to be a little bit more clever. But yes, the handling of that whole thing was really, really poor. And the club have got a lot of things right this season in the women's team. They've got a lot right, but they didn't get that right at all. And that's a fair point, and that's a good point. Well made. Emma, who would be your flop of the season?
Really difficult. I mean, it's really tough to say. I mean, even it probably Lena, I felt a bit sorry for her. I mean, maybe some of it's a difficult one, isn't it? Gio is a good shout. How about, I don't know, maybe you remember at the start of the season when they had the team photo and it was criticised for the lack of diversity. I think that was going a bit excessive as well, if you remember. I don't know. We've shown that we're in the academy, we have players that are of mixed race or whatever they was looking for. But I just thought that was maybe going a little bit too far, in my opinion, as well. The fact that maybe we didn't have to not want to use any racist language here of different cultures, if you want to say, or different. I don't know what they were hinting at, but I think that was just a little bit going a bit too far, in my opinion, as well, for the lack of diversity.
But it's yeah. I mean, they made a big fuss about that, didn't they? And it's ridiculous because sport is about the best players. That is all it's about, and it doesn't matter. And football, as when it comes to the playing side of things, football's never not in modern times. Yes, maybe in the past it may well have done, but nowadays you can't say that players that are from a ethnic background are being held back in football because they're not. If they're good enough, they get the opportunities, and you can see in a men's game in particular, a men's team. And yes, if that's the way it is, and they did make a lot of fuss about that, and I thought that was wrong, and that wasn't necessary either, but the usual people that mention that kind of thing mentioned it, didn't they? Brought it up and said this is an issue when it isn't an issue. Greg says Marlon's been disappointing every game. She's had a poor season, I would agree, but the only reason why I wouldn't even consider her a flop of the season is because of what happened to her in the cup final.
Yeah, so we have to remember she's still only 23 as well.
Yeah, she's still quite young. If she had a poor season, I would agree with you. She did have a really poor season, but she's not going to get any votes for flop of the season because I just think that I'm just grateful that she's still able to play football. So she can get away with it for me. OJ Knight has gone Frida as well. No, I get that because she did have a poor season. Terry said there's only one Lena and that's Zavaroni. Yeah, spelled slightly differently, but yeah, okay, fair enough. Someone says flop. I was expecting really big things from Frida, but flop is too harsh. What's going on there? Yeah, well, we don't know. She hasn't had a great season. I agree. Yeah, I wouldn't call her a flop either. Lethal Chicken says the kit personality.
yeah, that's a good show. That's a great
show. Actually, that is a really good show.
That's a
they should be if they haven't been sacked, they should be sacked. But yeah, they probably would be the flop of the season. Actually, I agree with that. And Lethal Chicken says, "Can we say flop of the season?" No, we can't. We want a trophy. We can't say that. No, but you're entitled.
Some of his tactics have let us getting a bit of review, so I can see where it's coming from. But yeah.
But he won a trophy, so he's not a flop, is he? A flop is someone who doesn't win anything 4 seasons in a row. That's a flop. A flop isn't someone who wins 2 trophies in 2. Yvette says a lack of diversity will be the same this year. I can't imagine management bringing in diverse players. They choose players from mainly non-diverse countries. No, but see, I don't necessarily think that we should be looking at that. We should be looking at, are Arsenal going to sign the best players that can come in and do the best for the team? And I don't look at a player and think, I've never done this actually. Even when I was younger, when racism was quite a big thing in football, certainly in this country, I never looked at a player and thought, "Oh, there's a black player." John Barnes, for example, I saw John Barnes play. My thought was, John Barnes is an amazing footballer, and that's all I cared about. I didn't care what colour he was. I didn't care where his background was. He was just an amazing footballer, and that's always been my. I've always felt like that. I've never looked on it any other way. And it's the same now. If Arsenal sign, whoever Arsenal sign, I don't care where they're from, what country they're from, what background they're from. If they're a great player that's going to improve our team, that's brilliant. And it shouldn't, and nothing else should matter. This is sport. It isn't politics. It isn't anything else. It's sport. The best people should be picked and the best people should be signed if we want to be a serious team. And whoever they are, wherever they're from, it doesn't matter. So it shouldn't even be mentioned. It doesn't need to be mentioned. We could say about a lack of diversity in a 100-meter sprint, couldn't we? Because there's a lack of diversity in that particular sport. Lack of diversity in basketball, for example, as well. But nobody mentions that because it's sport. And that's what happens. And nobody cares. The best people get to be picked. And that's how it's got to be. We can't do it any other way. It's got to be like that. Terry says, what do you expect from the BBC? Well, yeah, exactly. It wasn't just the BBC, but yeah, it kind of came from there. Greg says diversity is not an issue as long as we get the best player. Exactly, yeah, that summed up perfectly. Exactly right. Doesn't matter. Diversity is not what matters in sport. It's getting the best people for the job, whatever that job is. That should be in life, actually. The best people for the job should get the job. That's how it should always be. LG says, Caitlin Falls, another shout for flop. See, I wouldn't necessarily agree with flop. We maybe want a little bit more from her, but I don't think you can call her a flop. I don't think so. But, you're entitled to vote for it. This is what it's about, isn't it? Yvette says, if I could say that name, I would. And I'm
Christophe Lamatriciano.
They're from an African background, and Africans are very good at sprinting. So why wouldn't they be there? You know what I mean? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I wouldn't say that's exactly a flop of the season, but yeah, certainly in terms of players, I think it would be Lena, and I think the whole Gio situation was really badly handled, and Arsenal need to do better, quite honestly. Right, let's go on to a bit more of a happy award, shall we? And again, this one, we were talking a little bit about this before earlier in the show, so it might be quite interesting what we come up with for this. Obviously, goal of the season. I've put Katie McCabe on there because Katie McCabe, when she doesn't score many this season, but the ones she has scored have been pretty good, haven't they? As they usually are. It has been strange because we mentioned before, didn't we, about how we don't shoot from outside the box as much as we used to. We're not scoring those long-range goals that we used to score. You know, last season there were loads, wasn't there? I remember Frida Marnham got the goal of the season in the Champions League, and there were so many this season. I mean, I know a great goal isn't necessarily a shot from outside the box. A great goal can be a really good team goal that's finished off with a tap-in. Sometimes they're great goals as well. It doesn't have to be a great goal from outside the box. But there wasn't that many, was there? But for me, my personal vote, although I put Katie McCabe in the picture, would actually go to Chloe Lacasse for that goal against Bedford. Because that was incredible. It was a last-minute goal. It got us a draw in a game we looked like we were going to lose. And it was just a great fight. Sure. But Beth Mead got a great goal. Was it West Ham when she put it in the top corner? Yeah. Great goal, wasn't it, as well? Her first goal back, I think it was, as well. So that was important. Viv's goal against Liverpool, her first goal since her injury. What a great goal that was. So there has been some great goals. You know, we were maybe saying there wasn't that many, but my personal vote would go for Chloe Lacasse, but let's see what you guys think. Andreas, what will be your goal of the season?
The most important goal of the season was Dina's late winner against Chelsea.
Yeah, of course.
And that was a great moment. That was a great moment.
Yeah, and the others, you mentioned them both, and I think I would go with Viv's goal at Liverpool because it was it showed all her qualities in this moment. I think not many players would be able to score this goal that she did away at Liverpool, and it was so important for her. You saw her reaction, how much it meant for her, and so maybe Chloe's goal was more beautiful, and but all in all, creation of the goal. So I'll go for Viv's goal at Liverpool.
And not a bad choice at all, because that was a fantastic goal. And an important goal as well, because it was 0-0. It put us 1-0 up and probably helped us to win that game, which was important as it turned out in the end. Yvette's gone with Chloe Lacasse at Man U. Yeah, that was a fantastic goal. Greg's gone Russo against Chelsea. A great pass from Wolsey. That was a great goal. That was a really good goal as well. So many. Terry's gone. Frida scored some bangers. Yeah, she's got one or two from outside the box.
Against West Ham, the cross.
Chloe v United away, Chloe v United away was a great goal. Emma, what will be your goal of the season? A few there.
It's funny. The two that you boys said were actually the ones that were shortlisted for the WSL goal of the season. It was difficult to choose between those two, but I voted Chloe. If I had to throw in an alternative, not to say that sorry, I should have reiterated earlier as well. By the way, that the top I'm wearing is not because I don't support. It's just my night top. I don't support Chelsea, as you all know by now, in case anyone's wondering. But for goal of the season, I mean, those two are the ones you said were shortlisted. I said love the finish from Russo against Chelsea. Would remind you of shades of Thierry Henry. I'll throw another couple in there, which I thought were good as well. I'll throw Steph Catley's goal against Man City at home, which was in the right in the top corner. The build-up on that was absolutely beautiful. Then to score a first home goal and send the crowd wild, that was a
that was a good goal. It was,
Steph Catley's goal in the top corner against City. And I mean, beyond that, it's tough. But I'd say the all two and then that one as well. So also Leah Valti's goal in the FA Cup against Watford was good as well, which I'd throw. No, that wasn't mentioned. She didn't score many. But I thought, or which other one? Caitlin Ford's goal to finish off a passing move against Leicester, which completed the comeback as well. So there's a few in there which that
was a good goal when Russo crossed it, and that was a great goal actually. A great
that was a thing of beauty. But if I did go for one, I'd probably stick with you. I'd probably say Chloe against Man United.
Yeah, I think Chloe against Man United was a fantastic strike, wasn't it? And such an important goal as well. Last minute goals are always good, aren't they? If they're important winners or equalisers, they're always a little bit better, aren't they? LG says, remember also Emily Fox dribbled past two players before setting up. Yeah, she did. Although I think Viv had a lot more work to do when she got the ball to finish it. But that was a great goal. Yeah, that was a great goal. And that would probably be second place for me. You can't let emotions get in the way sometimes. Obviously, Viv scoring is more emotional maybe than Chloe's goal, but Chloe's goal I think was a better actual strike. And Terry, of course, has got his vote, and we didn't think anything else. Jen Beattie's winning player against Spurs, of course. You didn't expect Terry to come up with any other goal. No, she did score a goal against Paris FC in the Champions League qualifiers as well, didn't she? With a header in the last minute to make it.
Only with Terry's in the show, he's a winning goal. Obviously,
it was a good winning penalty, to be fair, and an important winning penalty as well because it qualified us through to the knockout stage, didn't it? So, that was a good goal and it was an important goal. So we'll let you have that one. But there's a couple more good ones to finish with, of course, as always. This one, again, there's a couple of moments that might stand out for this particular one. So let's have a look and see where we are. I mean, up until last weekend, the clear winner of this was Stina's goal against Chelsea in the cup final. That was, for me, the moment of the season. But I do feel as though maybe the nature of Viv's goal last week against Brighton, the fact that Beth set it up, the fact she'd literally just come off the bench, everyone knew it was her last game, and I just think the emotion from everybody there in the ground, and all the players as well. I don't know. It's difficult to separate the two now. Obviously, Stina's goal meant more overall winning a trophy, but that Viv goal was an incredible moment, wasn't it? Emotional moment. It was almost a perfect moment for the season in a way, wasn't it? That happening. So for me, I can't really choose between them. Stina had won this up until last weekend, and then suddenly Viv's come on and scored, and I'm like, oh, well, there goes the moment of the season, there, isn't it? Because it's got to probably be that. Because it was so emotional. I mean, Andreas, what would be your moment of the season? There's been a lot of good moments actually, but those two obviously stick out for me.
Yeah, of course. This moment against Brighton, this was like a fairy tale. You can't write the script better than this. Coming in 2 minutes, first touch, and then the pass from Beth.
Yeah,
It was.
I know, incredible.
Yeah. But I don't want to take the same as you did. So maybe lifting the Conti Cup, everybody will say this was the moment of the season. But I have another one. Best comeback against Villa.
Yes, that was good. Yeah.
Yes,
this was also such an emotional moment, and she came in a moment of this match when we were 1-0 down, and then the whole Emirates was standing up and cheering Mido. This was so emotional for her, of course, but also for us being there. And then she turned around the match. Of course, Katie scored also a brilliant goal, but
an assist, didn't it? Yeah, exactly.
Beth nearly scored. She hit the post, and then
she did
this to Alessia. So her coming back after nearly a year. Injury time, and then in a packed 60,000 with this standing ovation, this was a moment of the season, definitely.
No, that actually was a great moment. Yeah, you're right. LG says there, last season's goal still beats this season's goals by a mile. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, obviously, there was a few from last season that we'll never forget. Greg says his moment was seeing Leah come on as a sub. That was a great moment as well, wasn't it? That was a really good moment. Yeah, she set up a goal as well, didn't she? Within about 10 minutes. Terry says Stina Cup final made everyone's week. Plus exposed salty ever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was obviously winning a cup so fantastic. In any season, it's the moment of the season, isn't it? When you win a cup.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a few great. I mean, I think the fact that we sold out the Emirates in the WSL as well was a great moment in women's football history, not just Arsenal season, in women's football history to sell out the Emirates for a WSL game. What a moment that was. What will be your moment of the season? A few there, obviously.
Yeah, sorry, I should let you finish there. No, I've had a few. I mean, as I said, meeting Andres for the first time, and I said like against Manchester United. Beth's comeback, as you said, was fantastic as well. So many the sign off of Viv last week. I mean, if you're looking for an alternative, I suppose. I mean, I'm joking, but of course, Andreas coming to see me at the London Eye was quite good as well, even though it's not football related. But also,
well, it happened during the season. It happened during the season, so it counts.
Yeah. But also another one I'd like to add was after the 4-1 defeat against Chelsea, and it still makes me chuckle to this day. The banter when Sam Kerr was in her car and she held up with the Arsenal fans. When she went
4-1,
and then she goes after. Was it Emma Hayes goes after? Oh, I've only got a 20-minute drive home. That was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, no, they were good moments actually. Yeah, obviously beating Chelsea is always a great moment, isn't it? LG says scoring 2 stoppage time goals, Billy. Yeah, that was quite special. Yeah. It was quite special. That was. Terry says, great to see Frida playing football again. Yeah, it was. Yeah, obviously, after what happened to her, that was a great moment as well. Happened a bit quicker than we imagined it was going to, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's been a mixed season, but there were some great moments thrown in there along the way. Some really, really memorable moments that most of us won't ever forget. So yeah, it's what makes football what it is, really. But it's difficult to choose between Stina's goal or Viv's goal as our moment. But it's difficult. I don't want to separate them actually, so they might have to share this one. I think just because I can't for different reasons. They meant so much for different reasons, so it's difficult to choose really. But for the last main award, then is the big one. The one that this might split votes, actually. It might well split votes. This is going to be exciting. So it's the most coveted award, of course, the player of the season. Don't be swayed by my picture there. There's been a few candidates, I think. It's, we've already, we've said it hasn't been the greatest ever Arsenal season. It's had its great moments, but it's not been a great season overall. But I think there's been 3 or 4 players that have really stood out as having really, really good, consistent seasons and have been really, really good. So I'll leave mine until the end. Andreas, who is your player of the season? I think we might know anyway, but let everybody else know.
Yeah, of course. I was thinking about Kim as always, as every season, and you see what difference she still makes. Not starting against City, coming in at halftime, the game changed. So you couldn't have a better proof how important she is for the balance of our match. So she's my number 3 this season. Number 2, the picture was Vicky Pelova, undroppable and fantastic season, fantastic,
reliable.
Yeah, but of course, number 1, I didn't have to think a lot about it. Of course, Lotta, and it's my player of the season. It was the Arsenal spectators player of the season, the supporters club player of the season. She really deserved it. What a development this season! And when you read what she said, how this development came this season.
It's a good article. I read that actually.
She hired her own staff around her with statistics and yoga trainer, etc. And she was rewatching every situation, analyzing it, and seeing every statistics from herself. So just to see where am I good, where did I develop from last match, from last season, and this will to improve. This made the difference for her, and she was our rock in defense, the best defender we had this season, the most solid defender, and her development fantastic. My player of the season, Lotta Wubbenmoy.
Yeah, I mean everything. I mean, I think that's a good. That was a great article from Lotta, because we've always said before, didn't we, that sometimes maybe her concentration dropped, or she would make silly mistakes, and then it would affect her game. And she seems to have improved that. And I think that is the work she's done off the pitch, and that's what's improved that. And you can see the result of that. She finally got some game time for England as well during the season, which was fully deserved. And she has had an absolutely brilliant season. There's no question about that. Absolutely amazing season. Yeah, brilliant stuff. And obviously she got the Supporters Club Player of the Season. And I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? The people that watch the team week in, week out have picked Lotta as their Player of the Season. It is hard to argue, but I will be arguing a little bit later. But she's a fully deserved winner of it, absolutely no question. A brilliant season from Lotta again, so which is good to see. Terry has gone for Lotta as well, of course. LG says the moment that Sam Kerr was telling us what the Arsenal score was. Al's gone there, Player of the Season. Stina definitely with a shout, no question. Greg says Lotta Wubbenmoy, great season indeed. LG's gone, Alessia Russo. Well, yeah, why not? Terry said Plover, most improved player for me. Greg says Plover needs to improve her distribution. Yeah, maybe she does. LG says Lotta has been part of the defence as conceded many goals. And she's made mistakes in those, so I'm not buying this lot of propaganda. Well, no, I mean, that's fine. You don't have to. But I don't necessarily think that, yes, the defence has conceded a lot of goals, and she's been part of that, a regular part of that, absolutely. But I think there's a little bit more you need to look at rather than just the sheer fact of the goals we've conceded. But anyway, if you don't want to vote for Lotta, that's absolutely fine. Who was your? Oh, you said Alessia, didn't you? That's fair enough. Right, Emma, who is your? Well, let me give us your top three as well, because Andreas gave us a top three.
Top three. Oh, it's tough, man. I know who number one is. I've had the two. Yeah, I'd say Kim. You have to say Kim. What she does, the leadership she brings to England for so many years. I mean, she's what 33 now. She could play until she could play until she's 50. I said jokingly on her posting about she played till she's 50 and she'll still be the heartbeat of this team. She reminds you very much of the great midfielders down the years, or maybe not in women's football, but I'd say there's one player she reminds me of that I really love watching. I was a massive fan of. She's like the Xavi or the Iniesta, I would say, of our team, because she just knows how to pick a pass, or she just does, or she knows what she just looks so composed and controlled on the ball. So it's hard to pick one of those. Yeah, she'd probably be number three. Number two is hard. Yeah, Palova or Stina, I would say, because she's looked good every time she's played on the wing, and Stina just continues to score important goals for us. But the moment, as you say, another moment was that Conti Cup win and signing on. And I don't know if you saw the video there was a video on YouTube as well, not to digress too much, about what the players thought of her signing on, and it was a lovely tribute to her as well, I thought. So if you haven't seen it, we'll see that. And yeah, but number one is Lotta for me. She's established herself as the heartbeat of that defence, really solid. Her and Leah play together for the whole of next season, which they didn't for this season. I think we can be a lot more solid with those two going forward. And and if you saw the article on the BBC, the fact that the Dutch it's a mind coach, I can't remember, Renee Schleger signing on has been good for us as well, and it can only help her get better. So yeah, it's hard to disagree, but I would say probably the same top three as Andy.
Yeah, I mean, Lotta is a big shout. Obviously, a lot of people in the comments have said Lotta as well, apart from LG, of course, which is fair enough. I mean, for me, my top three would be slightly different. Number three for me would be Lotta, and I know that might be harsh. You might be thinking, why only three? And it's nothing to do with the defensive record. She's had a great season, and I think she's been brilliant. But maybe the fact that the defence hasn't been our strongest area of the team maybe slightly does go against her. But so she'll be number three for me. It's been very difficult actually. For me, between 2 and 1, there's nothing to choose. I almost feel bad for having to pick one, but I've had to pick one, and I'm going to pick one. And I do apologise, Stina, but you're only getting second place. Right? You've had an amazing season. What you've done from not being picked in the starting lineup to come off the bench in some big games and score some big goals and win us that cup. You probably do deserve to be player of the season, if I'm totally honest. But unfortunately, just by almost a millisecond of a fraction, I am going to give it to Vicky Palova. Okay. Just because I think Vicky Palova's work in midfield has been phenomenal this season. The way that she's won the ball. And yes, Greg mentioned her distribution before, and yes, that needs to improve, but that's not her game. Her strength is winning the ball and dictating the play in midfield. And in the big games against teams like Chelsea, against Manchester City and Manchester United, all the big games, she dictated that midfield. She dictated the flow of the game. She won the ball. In the Continental Cup final, her performance was just incredible, absolutely incredible. She was bullying Erin Cuthbert all day, and no one does that to Erin Cuthbert. And she absolutely all over the pitch. And that's not the only time she did that this season. And I just think that it's a very unglamorous position that she plays. Her role in the team, very unglamorous role, isn't it? Her job isn't to score goals from 40 yards. Her job isn't to come off the bench like Stina and score those great goals. Her job isn't to do that. Her job is just literally to win the ball in midfield and dominate that ball. And that's what she's done so well this season. When you think last season, you looked at her and thought, I'm not sure about her really. She looks like she could be a good player, but I wasn't sure. This season, she's just shot up a level, and I think she's been brilliant. I do think she's been brilliant. And it was so difficult to choose between her and Stina, and I so wanted to give it to Stina because she's been brilliant, and I love Stina, and I'm so pleased that she's re-signed. And had Stina left and not re-signed her contract, I might have given it to Stina out of sympathy. Myself. But the fact we're going to see Stina again next season, I think, well, you know what, Stina will probably win it next season, so it's fine. But very difficult to choose. But I'm going to give it to Vicky just because I was really, really impressed with how well she's played this season in that difficult role in midfield. She's been brilliant. Terry says Kim could win it every year, but we just expect it from her. Yeah, exactly. Kim's level of performance never changes. And it's just what yeah, you could give it to every season. Absolutely, you could, of course. Yvette says Palova was also brilliant against England. She was really, really good against England as well. Yeah, I just think she's had a great season. Honestly, I think I've loved watching her this season. I've loved watching her development in the team and just how important she's been. The fact that she's played every game virtually. You can't leave her out of the team because she's that important now. And we've changed our midfield a little bit in different games. Leah Volti's been left out a few times. Kim was left out a few times. Vicky's been there all the way through. And that shows what a season she's had. If you're getting in the team ahead of Kim Little in some games, you're getting in ahead of Leah Volti. You've had a good season, haven't you? So well done, Vicky Palova. Brilliant, brilliant season. But last season, we were all praising Frida Mann and what a great breakthrough season she'd had. She's gone off the boil this year. So Vicky, you've got to come back next year. You've got to be in that top 3 next year as well, haven't you? But brilliant season from Vicky. There's 3 or 4 players that probably deserve a shout. We've mentioned them. Brilliant stuff. Greg says if she'd stayed fit, Volti would win by a mile. Yeah, again, yeah. A bit like Kim Little, you know what you're going to get from Leah Volti week in, week out. She's just there doing a brilliant job. And it's expected. I think with Vicky Palova, we wasn't expecting that this season. I certainly wasn't. I wasn't expecting her performances to be like they have been. So I think that's maybe the difference. Kim, we expect it. Leah Volti, we expect it. We probably expect it from Stina. We expect her to score goals. So that's probably why Vicky just shades it. But yeah, a great award that was this season, because I think there's been so many players that have deserved a shout, and they've all got a shout, which is good. Now, finally, it's not really an award as such, but it's something that we can, end of the season is finished, looking ahead to the new season, and what are we going to say about it? So, we've seen what's happened this season, where things have gone wrong, where it's not quite gone our way. So what are our hopes for next season? Yes, we don't know what the transfer window is going to bring yet. We don't know who still might be leaving and whatever. So it's difficult to be exactly what we expect. But right at this moment in time, having seen what happened last season, having seen the transition and where we look like we're going, what are our hopes for the coming season? Andreas, what are your hopes for this coming season?
Hopes and expectations. I've written strengthening our weak parts in the squad. Of course, we need a new goalkeeper, and in my opinion, we need a better goalkeeper. Yes. Maybe, we need a central defender, maybe, but a winger who brings in speed. So just strengthening our weak parts. Then hope is that we are competitive in all 3 cup competitions and in the WSL.
Yes.
Reaching the group stage in the Champions League is essential. Reaching at least semi-finals in both domestic cups and taking the WSL title to the last match. Nobody can expect to win the WSL or to win a trophy. But take it to the last match and be competitive for the league title and be competitive for both domestic cups. This is a hope. And of course, no new injury crisis. Please not. We had this ago. Should be over. Yeah. And apart from what happens on the pitch, then I would say another hope is that we can keep the average attendance at the Emirates 50,000. We are playing at least 8 WSL matches there. Yes. So if we can keep the attendance at over 50,000, this would be fantastic. So
yes, it would. Yeah, it would. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's going to be a really big growth this season. We're playing more games at the Emirates, a lot more games at the Emirates. We've got the opportunity to get a lot more fans to watch us, and obviously we hope that works out. Of course we do. We don't want there to be 6,000 at the Emirates, do we, for games, or 10,000 even. We want to be selling out most of the games. I'm sure we will, but maybe that will come down slightly to what happens on the pitch. We want to see a successful team challenging for big trophies and hopefully winning 1 or 2. But yeah, absolutely. Emma, what were your hopes then currently for the season ahead?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because the last season only just finished a week ago. But yeah, I mean, what I'd like to see is, just of course, more consistency in the team selection for a start. So, it's a settled starting 11 like to see him change it up when he can. Obviously, I mean, I still trust this manager, but now the pressure is going to be on him because we have to challenge now for the. I know Conti Cup's a trophy, people say it, but if you wonder, it's like in many ways. I know people. I'm not disregarding him. I'm just saying it's like the way some people treat the Carabao Cup in the men's game. Right? So got to take more emphasis has to be placed on trying to consistently, as you said, Andy, maintain a sustained title for the WSL, not be out of the running come the end of the season, and just try to just adjust to the there's going to be managerial changes, but adjust to opposition out, and also just try and find a better maybe playing style, being more ruthless in front of goal, obviously, and signing those 1 or 2 areas that need addressing. As I said, 3 or 4, maybe 2 or 3. I don't know. Again, that's down to the manager. I'd just say so. Just consistency in team selection, sustaining the title challenge until the end, and going deep, getting back in the Champions League, of course, and it will be nice, of course, to get the FA Cup back. So I mean, as well as he's doing, I just want maybe less. Okay, fine. As I said myself, I've been very maybe harsh on Jonas at times. Maybe if we can start doing the things we'd like to see, then we'll see also less anti-Jonas sentiment as well. And you don't want to see what that stupid fan shouted last week at Boreham Wood, which I didn't hear during Viv's farewell speech. If we want that out, then just so we want just more consistency, more 1 or 2 new signings, and 1 or 2 trophies would be nice as well. Getting back in the Champions League and keeping those bumper crowds going. So those would be my hopes for 24-25.
Yvette says quadruple. There you go. I'll back you out on what you want to happen next season. The quadruple, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? I mean, wow, we would enjoy that, I'm sure. Whether we're quite in the position to win a quadruple, I'm not sure. But why not? If you don't dream big, you're never going to achieve anything, are you? So I'll go along with you there. I'd like to see the quadruple. Greg says if we don't sell out all season, take that concert. Well, maybe they could. There's been a few concerts at the Emirates, hasn't there, before? So maybe that's what they'll have to do if they don't sell out. So he says, I think the Arsenal girls will be like Cinderella next season, sweeping everything up, no room for dust in our trophy cabinet. Well, let's hope you're right. I really do. Tal says their hopes are no more mediocre 2-1 games against the bottom teams, 25 more goals for and 5 more goals again. Well, I mean, I think if that was to be the case, we'd probably win the league, wouldn't we? Which would be a great season. LG says win the WSL and at least semi-finals of the Champions League. Another one. You don't want much, do you? You don't want much, do you? You know what I mean? We've got a quadruple from Yvette, and LG wants just to win the league and get to at least a semi-final of the Champions League. But as I say, dream big. That's what we've got. You know, the players have to believe that they can win the quadruple next season. The manager's got to believe we can win it. We probably won't win the quadruple, but if you set out to win it,
he said, didn't he? He came out early in the week and he said, we got the squad capable of winning. That's good to see, but now it's down to you.
Exactly. That's what you want to see. You want to see belief. Belief is a big thing in sport, isn't it? And if we believe we can do it, then we've got a chance. LG says if we're out of the title race by December,
I said no anti-Jonas sentiment, and he goes and throws out.
Let's see where we are in December. You know, let's see where we are in December. If we've qualified for the group stage of the Champions League, if we're still in the Continental Cup, if we are obviously we're still in the FA Cup in December, and if we're maybe second or third in the league, you wouldn't sack your manager at that point, would you? It depends on how the season's going, but we do need to do a lot better next season. There's no question about that. There you go. Terry says, Richard, did you get your new cup? I haven't done yet. I'll tell you why I haven't done it yet, because it's going to sound like a bit of a feeble excuse, but because it went for as a super chat, YouTube only pay me once a month, and I don't get paid till next week from YouTube, so I won't be able to do it till then.
What cup is that?
But I will have. No, it's a new Arsenal cup. I don't know whether it happened. I broke my Arsenal mug, right? I broke it a few weeks ago. But it was a total accident, and I smashed it, right. And I have it at work, you see. Just everyone's got to see me Arsenal cup at work. Yeah. And unfortunately, I had a bit of an accident, and it smashed. And I tried to stick it back together again, and it wasn't happening. So during the watch-alongs, I had my cup of tea, and obviously I used to always have my Arsenal cup, and I wasn't able to keep my Arsenal cup because it broke. So Terry very kindly donated some money to the channel. So I will be buying one. We'll have it definitely well ahead of next season. Don't worry. In fact, it'll probably be for the Euros because I've got one on order, and it's coming. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be a special one, and it's going to be good. So yes, that is on the way. So just look out for my new Arsenal Cup, which is coming very, very soon. Yvette says, leave the concerts for Spurs. Yeah, we don't want our pitch to be ruined, do we? With a load of concerts. Greg says, yeah, if he did, that's 2 cups this season. Exactly, yeah, 2 cups. That's right. I'll be getting it. Don't worry, it's on the way. LG says we're probably gonna lose one game.
Be quiet, LG.
Oh, that would be funny. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Yeah, we might only lose one. If we lose one game, we'll probably win the league. Let's be honest. I mean, my hope for next season are that we win at least one of the other 3 trophies that we haven't won for the last 2 seasons. One of those other 3 would be great. Obviously, the WSL would be fantastic, and I don't think we'll be far away. We were just 2 poor performances away from winning it this season, so we're not far away, are we? Yeah. Obviously, the Champions League, we need to be in it this year first. We need to qualify, get in the group stage. We should get out the group stage. We should be good enough, get to knockouts, who knows? So, yeah, we want a decent run in that as well. And, yeah, Amar's right, the FA Cup, we haven't won that for a long, long time. And it would be nice to finally, a day out of Wembley, how good would that be? Next May, we can have a big day out of Wembley, all of us. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? So that would be the dream. To be able to do that. But yeah, let's just win one of those 3, at least one of those 3 big trophies. Hopefully 2 or 3 of them, or all of them would be great, wouldn't it? But yeah, that's we've got to now start looking at, haven't we? I think the last 2 seasons have been a little bit of a transition. We've had a lot of injuries. We've had a lot of other issues going on. We've brought new players in. We're transitioning the style of play. And now for me, next season is the time for it to all come together and for us to go on and win the league or win something major, and that's what we want to see, and that would be my hopes. And anything less than that, I do feel would be disappointing. And I do think as much as the Continental Cup's been great and it's been fantastic, and if we win it again, that's fantastic. But if next season we're sitting here and we've come 3rd and won the Continental Cup again, it's not going to be enough. It is not going to be enough.
No, it's not.
It would not be enough. We need more than that, and we've got to deliver. Jonas has got to deliver. The players have got to deliver. No more excuses. Greg says, my hope is everyone stays fit. Obviously, yeah, we hope everyone stays fit. Of course we do. And if everyone does stay fit, it's going to mean we can achieve our other targets and goals for the season, or much more likely to, aren't we? Let's be honest. So yes, that's what we hope for. Terry says, my hope for next season is.
Oh, thank you, sir.
These 3 keep producing great entertainment. Well, of course we will, but we'll do our best. We'll always do our best to try to keep you entertained on a Friday, which has been great. So yeah, that has been the 2023-2024 season. A trophy-winning season. We've got to be happy with it. I suppose just before we finish, we need to rate the season out of 10. Andreas, what would you give the season out of 10 overall?
Oh, that's very difficult. I mean, winning a trophy could make it 8, but normally 7. Too many disappointments in Champions League and FA Cup against the lower table teams. Normally it's a 7, but Conti Cup and closing one eye and say, okay, it's an 8.
An 8?
Well, no, 8's fine. It's a trophy-winning season, and you don't get always many of them. I know we've had a lot over the years, but what would you give the season overall?
It's a tough one. I agree. Winning the trophy was good, and selling out the Emirates and winning all the home games. I mean, with a joint best home record, let's not forget in the division with Chelsea, with 10 wins out of 11 and only 1 defeat. Yeah, I mean, just need the consistency, and for me, it's really difficult. I mean, selling out the Emirates and also those performances at home. I think if I'm being, I don't want to be too kind, but I'd give it probably a 6.5 to a 7. Okay, yeah, I'll give a 7 probably. 7 is probably I'll give the season a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Yvette's gone 6 out of 10.
So I was really
LG's gone 6 out of 10. I think that's a little bit hard. Personally, when we've won a trophy, I can understand that it's disappointing in a lot of ways. Greg says 8, still had our problem with injuries. Yeah, what's 8's a bit, maybe, I don't know. Terry says,
you're always going to give 10.
Disappointment added in. Well, no, I kind of agree with that. I think for enjoyment, it's always a 10 out of 10 because we just enjoy watching this team play. I think overall, maybe I would probably give the season a 7. I think that disappointments in the league, too many silly defeats. The FA Cup, we were unlucky. If things had gone our way in that one game, we might have got to the final and won it. Obviously, the Champions League was massive. That really knocks the points down, just not getting through that, even though there were reasons for it. And obviously, winning a cup is a fantastic thing. So I think overall, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Could be better, needs to be better. Also, could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. So we'll take what we've got. We got the minimum requirement at the Champions League qualifiers. We won a trophy. I'll for this season, I'll take it. It's not enough going forward, but I'll take it. So I'm going to give it 7 out of 10, and room for improvement. I think Jonas maybe gets a B or a B plus for winning a trophy, but if you put in a report at the end, you'd say must do better.
Must do better.
Lacks concentration in class or something like that. He's got to do better.
B minus. I'd say B minus.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, something like that. He's got to do well. Greg says Jonas 5, the girl is 10. So somewhere in the middle, then I suppose. I mean, maybe Jonas won a trophy, so maybe he deserves more than a 5. LG says interesting because it is the men's team home form that has contributed to them not winning the league. They always have at least 2 defeats. No, you're right. That's a good point. Yeah, there is always.
It's a good point.
Always seems to be
next season. I think we can go all the way. So let's see.
Yeah, it does seem to be the odd strange results at home sometimes, but maybe they need to copy what the girls do at the Emirates, because we just lost once there all season, didn't we? That was the first game. We know why that happened. But anyway, I think a 7 out of 10 is probably about fair. Anywhere between 6 and 8 probably is about right. So there you go. So he says, I agree, LG Arteta.
Oh, be quiet. Stop talking about it. Just listen to women's
anyway. But anyway, this has been the 2023-2024 season. Yes, room for improvement. We've won a trophy. We've had some great moments. We've had some emotional moments. But the most important thing is that we've been through it all together every week here. Obviously, Andreas has been flying about. I missed a few shows this season, but normal. But it's been great that we've been going through it all together, the highs and the lows, and we've shared them all here. We've shared them all with you guys as well watching, and I think that's been really important as well. This show's really grown this season as well. More and more people are tuning in and watching. More and more people are watching the watch-alongs on the channel as well. It's really grown this season even more, and it's great. And we're grateful to every single one of you guys out there that watch us on a regular basis. You guys that contribute with the chats all the time. It's great, and it's nice when new people pop up as well that we don't see before. They want to get involved as well. So hopefully next season we'll continue to grow. We'll continue to try and improve the show as well, make it better for you guys as well, more entertaining, and give you more of what you enjoy. And yeah, it's been a great season here. I think from us here on the channel, we'll give ourselves 10 out of 10. I think.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we always give ourselves 11 out of 10. I could give it 11.
The team can get 7, and we will get 10 because I think we've.
I'll give it 11. I'll give it 11.
Yeah, we've had a good season. We've grown. The channel's been growing. More people watch, and
the quizzes have been getting better.
They haven't actually. Yeah, just before we leave them, we have got our final one of the season to us all to enjoy. It is going to be a big moment for Amar, of course. So one last time to end 2023-2024 in the best way. Amar, give us your best shot.
Okay, so for the last time this season, how many letters of the alphabet don't appear in the name of an Arsenal women's player?
Oh.
Out of the 26 letters of the alphabet, how many don't appear in the name of an Arsenal women's player? And that doesn't include players who have since moved on.
First and second name, or
oh yeah, whole name, full name. The one I was going to do last time, but now I thought, why not? Let's do save it for the end of the season.
One sticking out in my mind, but I actually no. Actually, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. I'm changing. There is no. Hang on. There's one straight away that's come to my mind that doesn't feature, but there might be more yet.
You narrow it down and it becomes pretty straightforward, but let's see.
Oh, this is a great question, actually.
You said one came straight out of your popped straight into your mind. Which letter was that there?
X.
Nope.
X appears in one of our players' names.
Who did we sign in January?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
Ah, of course. Yes, that was obvious, that one. That was silly, wasn't it?
That's all right.
I was thinking we sold Granite Xhaka, didn't we? So it's not an X anymore.
Yeah.
He always was the X, wasn't he, Granite Xhaka? Oh, okay. That's thrown me a little bit. I was sure about that. I didn't think of that.
I bet somebody in the chat will go and go get this eventually, but we'll see.
I've got a feeling there's only going to be one letter. I've got a feeling it's only going to be one letter.
Okay.
Because I can't. I'm just looking through the alphabet now, and most of the letters I can play a clue.
Or some all of them. Others, obviously.
So there's going to be one. I think it's only going to be one letter. And,
okay.
I'm just trying to figure out what it might
be. We also count the players that left.
No. So they're not players that have left through the season. The only players that were listed on the back of the last match day program.
Oh, only players on the last. Oh.
Well, no, the only players players who don't. Well, I didn't include players who have left midway through the season. So just the current squad.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Well, no. So that's a little bit confusing because Viv isn't in the current squad because she's left. But can we include her?
Oh, sorry. I meant as in players. Sorry. I should have made that clear. That's my no. So players who finished the season still playing for Arsenal before leaving. If you see what.
Oh, okay. Right. No, yeah. We finished the season. But right. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So obviously,
we will finish the season even after. That was a little bit.
There's probably another V anyway. Well, there is another V. So.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
It doesn't matter anyway, really.
So then it might be to J. And Z, Gen B.
There is a J. Surely there's a J. Jonas is a J. Surely he counts.
No.
Oh, come on, Andreas. Manu Zinsberger.
Ed Noel Maritz. Yes.
No, you're right with J. After Gen BT left, there is nobody with a J in their surname.
There's no more J.
No, we don't include the manager, so J is correct.
See, LG's gone Q, but isn't Gio's name begins with a Q? Isn't it Kyrgios or something?
She's left throughout the season, so
she's on loan.
No, she was on loan. She didn't leave. She was on loan.
Then I suppose it's only J. Sorry, I thought she'd moved permanently. I thought she'd actually moved permanently to Real Madrid.
No, she's only on loan.
She's on loan. Yeah, I suppose when I say finish this season, I suppose Q is correct, but then you have to remember she's on loan, so technically it's only J then.
So we did have a Q because I had a Q and then I remember that's Gio's name is Q, isn't it?
I know, but she didn't really play for us this season.
Greg's gone for G. Greg's gone for G.
G?
Well, Gio obviously was the G. Is there any other Gs?
I think there must be one other G. Zinsberger.
Oh, yeah, Zinsberger's got a G. Yeah, of course he has, yeah. Oh, so it's just J. That's weird, isn't it? That it's J, and yet the manager's got a J. That's strange.
And Q is the only one which is only on loan. So technically, I would have included Q, but she hasn't really played for us this season. So I can understand why you said Q as well. So yeah, those are the only two that I had in my reckoning.
It took me a while to figure out a Y as well, and then I realised it's Steph
Catley.
There's probably others as well, but
Lotte Ruben-Moy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a Ruben-Moy.
Ira Cooney-Cross.
Ira Cooney. W is Ruben.
There's a few now. Yeah, it took me a while to think of one, but actually, yeah, there's a few, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are obvious. There's loads for some of them, isn't there? I suppose.
Yeah.
E and
W, we've got Vouty, Williamson. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, yeah.
So it's just J. And of course, I mean, I'm surprised Terry didn't get that actually. With Gen BC leaving, I'm surprised Terry didn't get the right answer for that. LG says, yeah, he's on loan at Madrid, not Real Madrid. Yeah, not Real
Thank
Madrid.
you. Thank you for the correction. Yes, thank you for the correction.
Yeah. But yeah, you see, but her name is Q, isn't it? So
technically it's 2, but if you want to be picky, then it's 1. So
it's unusual actually not to have a J, isn't it? Because a J is quite a common name, a letter for names, isn't it? It appears in quite a few names.
Yeah.
But if you include the manager, then it's none. If you include the manager, then it's 0 letters. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, that was a good question. What a way to finish the season actually with a J. There you go. We finished with a J. That's fantastic, isn't it? Terry went 3W.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah, so what could you say? Really?
Oh, if he's looking for a new cup, by the way, can have mine. I don't mind. If you're looking for a new cup, Terry, I've got one for you.
No, Terry doesn't need a new cup. He's got me a new cup. It's my new cup, not Terry's. Not Terry's.
I thought he needed one as well because he was lending this to you. Sorry.
I'm getting a new Arsenal. No, I'm getting a new Arsenal cup. It'll be coming very, very shortly, and it'll be debuted on the channel very, very shortly as well. Terry says, "What about J20?" Yeah, well, he's in the other team, isn't he? So he doesn't count. But
J20.
Yeah, Jorginho.
Oh yes, of course.
It's men's team. Doesn't count.
Yeah. But if we went through the men's team, we probably wouldn't find any. There wouldn't be a Q, would there, in the men's team? I wouldn't imagine.
I can't think of a Q in the men's team.
It won't be an X either now. He's Granit Xhaka's left. I wouldn't have thought. Either.
No, we have to go through it, but yeah.
After looking at it, we'll see how many in the men's team letters we've got. That could be quite good. That may be the same later on. But this has been the 2023-2024 season. It's been brilliant stuff on the channel. On the pitch, it's been a bit up and down, as we've said. But we've enjoyed it, haven't we? Of course, we've enjoyed it, as we always do. We've enjoyed the football. We enjoy watching this team, and hopefully next season we might enjoy a few more trophies, because that'd be nice, wouldn't it? So there we go. And just before we finish, of course, we can't finish the season without a little bit of this.
It's a disgrace. It's embarrassing.
I don't quite know what's embarrassing or a disgrace, but anyway, we'll finish with that because I think that's fair enough. So there we go. Greg says the queue to get upset out. Me, you and Terry are at the front of the queue, aren't we, Greg? Us three are at the front of the queue.
Well, Mikel was spelled MIK, not MIQ, but anyway.
I don't think too many other people are in the queue at the minute, but one day they'll join us soon, Greg. Don't you worry about that. They'll all be joining the queue soon. Don't you worry. Next year they will. They'll be on the back with us. Don't you worry about that. Talking about Mikel Arteta, we will be back at some point next week with a men's review of the year show as well, looking back on that season, which didn't have a trophy, unfortunately, to look back on, but there was many other great moments that we can look back on, and we will do. So we're going to get Neil be with us for that. We're hoping to get Lee with us as well, and possibly a few other people as well. So we're going to do that next week. I haven't managed to get a date yet with a bank holiday, so we'll sort that out. That'll be the next show. Then we might have a couple of weeks off just because it's, end of the season. We've worked hard. And then we'll probably be back when the Euro starts to do some Euro stuff. We'll have some Euro shows on, of course, covering England and everything else. We're going away for a week as well during the Euros, which is going to be fun. So there'll be a few vlogs and stuff on the other channel. So that's going to be all that then. So yeah, what a season! Amazing, great stuff. I've enjoyed it on here with you guys, watching us and enjoying us and giving us your comments. Andreas, have you enjoyed the show tonight? And more importantly, have you enjoyed the season? Because that's what it's been about.
Both. I enjoyed the show and the season, and this show, talking with you every Friday and chatting with our viewers, this makes me enjoy the season much more. And I was at 10 out of 11 home matches this season, plus the Conti Cup final, plus the FA Cup final. So it was a fantastic season for me in the stadiums. Fantastic season. I enjoyed every minute of this season, and of course I would have enjoyed it even more if we won more, but anyway, this show and the discussions with you is just fantastic, and I'm happy and proud to be a part of it. And of course I'm proud that so many people are watching my match day vlogs, and if you want me
keep them coming. That was another highlight of this season.
Then I will do this. Thanks for everybody who's watching this too.
They've been amazing, actually. We want to thank you for doing it, because it's really brought something extra special to the channel, inside the stadium, the atmosphere, Even in the pub as well. We've even had some pub action this season as well, which has been great. We even saw Emma on one of the videos as well, didn't we? Which was fantastic. So they've been fantastic actually. That has been a highlight of the season. Emma's absolutely right, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of that coming up next season as well. I'm hoping to get to a lot more games next season, so I'll have some vlogs that I'll be doing as well. So it's all looking good stuff. Emma, as well, have you enjoyed the show tonight, and of course the season as well?
I mean, what can I say? To be part of... Sorry?
I said, even despite all the issues and the problems, you still enjoyed it.
Oh, no, yeah, issues and problems getting back late. Hopefully, yeah, I mean, nobody will consider I'll be late this time. I was on time. Hopefully, become a regular thing. But no, it's been an honor and a privilege to share. Ever since I joined in 2021, I knew this was right for me. It's great to talk about what we love, as I always say. And yeah, long way to continue. Whatever happens, men or women, we'll always be united together. We always want them to win trophies. You'll probably see more, hopefully more games next season, assuming that I get to redeem my membership. And talking about hopefully setting more great quizzes for you guys along the way as well. So yeah, it's been great again, and it feels a bit a shame that we won't be back for maybe 3 or 4 months, but there's still plenty to look forward to in the meantime. And yeah, I suppose we all deserve a good lie down and bring on September.
Exactly. I'm at the Lionesses game actually next Friday, so I'll be there at
James Park, France, isn't it? Yeah.
England Lionesses against France in the qualifiers for the Euros. That's going to be a big game, an important game. Really looking forward to that. That's going to be great. Hopefully, a few of our girls will be playing as well to make it even better. Lotta, of course, won't be because she's had to pull out. But Leah, hopefully, Leslie comes back from Australia with no problem that she can play. So we look forward to that. So that's going to be next Friday. So yeah, it won't be a show next Friday, but I'll be watching some women's football, which is good.
Nice.
Says, Friday nights will be lonely without your free smiley faces. You. Well, we'll be back soon, Greg. Don't you worry. We'll be back soon. It'll all be good. So there you go. Greg says you should all be proud. You're the best chat available. No, the chat's fantastic. It is, yeah. And the show wouldn't be half of what it is without you guys watching and commenting and joining in and stuff like that. So it's been great. So yeah, thanks to everybody that's joined us this season. A lot of new people must have joined us this season because there's been a lot more views on the show this season as well. So you've all find us from somewhere. Hopefully you'll keep finding us next season. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody, stick an advert on the radio, do whatever you need to do. Let's get more people watching this show next season. Let's make it it's the original Arsenal Women's Show on YouTube. Let's make it the most watched as well. And let's keep pushing on next season. So thanks to all you guys. Obviously, thanks to Andreas. Thanks to Amar. Thanks to everybody for watching. Yeah. It's been a great season. It's been emotional. It's been highs and lows. We had a great moment at Molineux. So thank you to the team for letting us experience that. Thanks to Stina for signing her new contract. And we look forward to more great memories next season. Hopefully this time next year we'll be sitting here and it won't just be one little Conti Cup we'll be looking back on. What memories we will have of hopefully more big trophies. That'd be great, wouldn't it? And maybe a Champions League as well, wouldn't that? The final, Champions League final, well. But let's not get too carried away just yet. Let's just enjoy the summer. And we'll be back with this show again before the start of the season. And I'll be back with various things through the summer as well. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been 2023-24. Come on, you gunners. Let's do it. We'll see you soon, guys. Take it easy.
Bye.
Enjoy your weekend and enjoy your summer.
Enjoy your summer.